Ooh, needless to say, I'm so deep in the hole of what Square Enix left us off with in this first part of the remake, a hole that I fear I may not emerge from. What is good, guys? How you doing? Let's go. Live theory crafting. So I've been away on a little venture. I've been exploring all the different possibilities of what the hell has gone down. Where the hell's me? I've been going through all the possibilities, going through all the links, all the connections. What exactly are the timelines? What is Sephiroth's goal? How much does Aerith remember? All of the questions, and this is going to be a weird format, so I've got a few visual cues which I'll throw up. It's not going to be like the normal videos where you can really see all the links, because one thing that this remake really emphasized to me is how much Square Enix have used foreshadowing, sort of like meta-narratives, allusions to things, double language, even the way they've been using colours in the remake have been hinting themes throughout the game. The music is another one. Songs that were appearing, so even the audio hints that were going down. Holy hell. Either way, guys, how have you been? What noodle reparations have been going on? Have you been getting your mind around this craziness? What up, Fab's Life? Jordan, mate, Katie, Melissa. So my theory I came out with, the God Cloud theory. I thought it was a good theory. We're going to talk about it a bit in this video. But since seeing all the other fan bases and franchises, theories that are going around right now, I've realised how open-ended this is. There are a bazillion ways. After 25 years of building this universe, there are so many threads for Square Enix to pull from. Your theory killed my brain. Did you like it? Did you like it? Alright, so here we go. The level 10 God Cloud theory. I like this theory. So I was going to say, you know, the premises of this theory, you know, Seph back from the future. Is Seph even back from the future? Is Seph even bad? So even my own level 10 theory is getting blown clean to bits. But what I loved about this theory, and what I want you guys to do, ayo, Zionasa, what up, mate? Shadow's like, happy bank holiday. Whee! Pez has been busy hitting the Mako. I haven't stopped hitting it. I'm so high on theory crafting right now. I'm so high, man. So high. I got the munchies, I'm so high on these theories. But what I really liked about this, and what I want you guys to contribute, is for every single, because we've got loads of stuff to go through, I want you guys to say alive, dead, or Jeffin. This way we can keep the format moving along, because we can really go off on a tangent with this stream. So say alive if you think there's some in there. If you think there should be some in, or could be some in this theory. Dead if you don't think so. And simply say Jeffin. Jeffin is if you're like, I don't know too much about any of this. I'm stepping out. I'm stepping out of this one. I'm Jeffin. I'm passing. Alright, so you guys got the format? Dead, alive, or Jeffin. So level 10 theory. Why did I like this theory? Well, for me, I keep coming back to that same point of home, the same part of the Aerith goal, to bring humanity back to Cetra, for the ending of this game to be humanity actually in touch with the planet, but also at the same time having homes, established communities, and there's something that is so human. I feel like Square Enix must have. Did you guys get it? Do you think it's alive? So alive, you think alive? The wolf saying dead. Do you think that they've brought in the theme of home as strongly as they have? Because it's going to be about the resolution of humanity, etc. Either way, God Cloud Theory, for anyone who hasn't seen it, check the video out. It's like 36 minutes long, really quick summary. Sephiroth's goal, the reason why he wants Cloud to join him is so that he can become the vessel that hosts all the souls of the planet. And we're going to get deeper into this because the Lifestream, guys, is just one stream of many that exist in the cosmos, in the universe for FF7. In fact, there is a cosmos stream that there's a lot of people who have theorized, and I think there's a lot to prove it, because Gaia's Lifestream has been corrupted. The larger cosmos has essentially cut off Gaia from the rest of the cosmos so it doesn't get infected. But there's a much larger... Sephiroth's already jumping way ahead. Nice, Sephiroth, you're getting it. He needs Cloud to become the new Omega. Oh, boy. So, yeah, I mean, that's like 0.6 on my list of points. Weapons that the planet summons to its aid. We'll cover that later. But yeah, the idea of Cloud becoming a vessel ain't too crazy because Omega and Chaos was something built specifically for that purpose. Chaos, which is our boy Vince. Anyone think that Vince is going to have a whole different role in this game? Like, I can really see Vincent being a massive trump card because, of course, he's got what's the materia that's infused in his body? Is it just called Chaos Materia? I can easily see that breaking Vincent's space-time timeline paradox. I think Vince's going to be huge in this game. But yeah, Chaos was created by the planet to wipe out humanity, and then Omega would take the souls and transport it off into the cosmos, into the greater Lifestream I'm talking about. So if Cloud could essentially become the next Omega, the next vessel, taking all the souls of humanity. Now, what did you guys think about the releasing it? This was, because a lot of people like the theme of, hold up, where's my next frame? Of Neo Midgar getting built. So Neo Midgar actually getting built in the Promised Land after Cloud releases their souls 500 years later. This is a crazy, crazy part of the theory that Cloud could hold on to for 500 years so the planet has time to heal and repair. And then they actually come back, they rebuild Midgar, Reeve has his role, Rufus has his role, and it was all done. Can't wait to see Vincent. True, Vincent deserves better. Different storyline, I can see him being huge. Speaking of the last show, I remember their scene in Avengers, was it Endgame? I mean, the whole Avengers parallel timeline things, like, it's really a theme getting used a lot lately. But yeah, after 500 years, Mr. Cone, Cloud releases the souls. They rebuild Midgar, and it was all based on a promise he made to Aerith. And someone pointed this out to me only after I made the video, because I was like, I had to make up the part about Aerith and Cloud making a promise and Cloud fulfilling it. Even if it's the 500 years, even if it's the Neo Midgar, I feel like that promise should happen because there would be this beautiful symmetry. Not even, and I'm sure they didn't mean to do it, you know, when in the original trailer they said the promise has been made. At last, the promise has been made. Now, of course, you know, they're talking probably about the promise of actually making the remake, but also the fact that, where is it? The base of FF7, the entire base of the game starts on this scene here. The promise between Tifa and Cloud. This is the thing that sets up the whole game. This is the whole thing that brings Cloud and Tifa and Avalanche, the whole lot together. And this is like OG Cloud. To now think that if he made a promise with Aerith, that could be the finish of the game. So Tifa Cloud's promise starts the game, Aerith Cloud's ends the game. Oh, Square. Do it. It would be so poetically symmetrical. How does the Japanese do with that with the two Sephiroths? So we're going to be moving on to that, Mr. Ultimate, because yeah, is this even a bad Sephiroth? So let me just go through my notes. So the two promises, home etc. I definitely feel like this home etc. point has some legs to it. Anyone see in, well, obviously you saw it in the remake, Barret saying the prophecy. What was it? Unto her promised land shall we one day return. By her loving grace and providence, may we take our place in paradise. And I love Barret saying it, and specifically saying her. Now, I know the Mother Nature guy is always usually seen as a divine feminine concept, but I was wondering if the her could be Aerith in the prophecy. Unto her promised land. I've also been thinking if Minerva's going to play a role in this game, because Minerva, Denby's already going there, a reawakening of Genesis. Man, I really think that somewhere in the Crisis Core story, they're going to pull some big stuff. Big stuff. So does anyone alive, dead, or Jeffin on Minerva? I don't know Minerva's lore probably, but is she a manifestation of Gaia? Yeah, that's exactly what she is. It was described in Crisis Core that she pretty much enacts the will of the Lifestream. and see if I can find. I'll be coming on to it later. They've pretty much made huge visual hints of Minerva, especially in the ancient cutscene. You know, the woman who was standing there crafting a piece of materia looked just like the Minerva statue. So are the purist ghosts completely dead now? So this is going to go into the Big Bang theory, which will also be coming up. There's a Big Bang, that all of creation started again. No, Cloud and Seth standing on the edge of creation. It's alive. Glenn Rose thinks it's alive. Holly be Jeffin. What does Jeffin mean though? Jeffin is where you're like, mate, I don't know enough about that subject. I'm just going to step on out. I'm going to take the fence on this one. Middle road. It's possible. It's not possible. That's what Jeffin is. But yeah, the promise would just be beautiful. I feel like Nanaki seeing his mates 500 years later, the entire prophecy of the game being answered, Neo Midgar actually being built, characters coming back at the end. I don't know. What do you think, guys, for the ending of the remake? Do you think they're gonna go dark and tragic, a dark tragedy, super happy, or do you think they're gonna go ambiguous, similar ending to the original, aka open to player interpretation? Did humanity die? Did they survive? What do you think they're gonna do? I feel like it's gonna be a happy ending, and yet at the same time. And this is why I didn't emphasize in my God Cloud theory, is that I wanted to potentially take the happy route, but not at that cheesy, disingenuous kind of happy where sacrifice and death, it's sort of trivialized. And I've seen this a lot with these new changes. So, Biggs being alive, guys. Why is it that you guys, I've wrapped my head around this so much, people saying Jesse is definitely still dead. Some people are saying that, you know, the window smash we heard with Wedge, he was thrown out the building. But yeah, I've seen a lot of people saying, oh, I hope that all these people die. I don't want them to be alive. I don't want death to be trivialized. Now, I've seen this subject with like FF10 and the stuff they talk about 10.3. Where do you guys sit on the death trivialized topic? Wedge is gone, my boy. He kept alive just to be lobbed out a window. God damn, that's so savage. Because I definitely feel like things with 10, you know, that has the far plane, you know, 7 with the Lifestream characters who act and interact within it. They have, they have meaningful purpose with the story still. I feel like that plot element seems to like naturally trivialize death or open the possibilities for it to be abused, for Square to bring characters back, take them away. And I know that that's such an important theme for 7, because 7 really was so final with death. Anyone really felt? I think it was even Nomura. I think I even brought the quote here. Nomura said the entire subject of death was it around his mother dying? I think he said, death comes suddenly, and there is no notion of good or bad. It leaves not a dramatic feeling, but great emptiness. When you lose someone you loved very much, you feel this big empty space and think, this is the big part of the quote, if I had known this was coming, I would have done things differently. So I definitely see when Nomura put that in, because, you know, Jesse's, Aerith's death, it was like, it hit, there was no coming back, there was no fantasy element or fantasy logic to reverse it, it hit, and there was nothing to undo it. But I also feel like, when he said, if I'd known this was coming, I would have done things differently, how does that play into the fact that us fans know what deaths are coming, would have done it differently? Even Cloud and the other characters getting flashes of these events. Now, Cloud's actually seen Aerith's death, and I feel like in this remake he's gonna know it's coming, and I feel like that's why he's gonna try to do things differently, for sure. But yeah, the death trivialized is something that I really feel, and that's why my God theory, I feel like past that point of singularity that has happened, Aerith and Zack should return to the Lifestream. They should be guardians again. to the newly reinstated Lifestream, so that it still has impact, so that it still has meaning. I feel like there's a way that Square Enix can blow open this whole remake with who survives, who doesn't, and there's one big character I want to bring up down the line. But they can still do it in a way that doesn't fluff death. Vanilla death, new chance, new death in Remake for higher stakes. That's what I think Shekalo is surely got to be all for higher stakes, for a compounding of feels. Make us think Aerith can survive, but then switch up. Nothing wrong with choice. You can have options. I mean, we've seen pretty significantly the options, the multiple choice elements and text dialogues, selections. Can you guys really see huge multiple endings happening? Or do you feel like even with Aerith, like, do you think there will be choice to keep her alive or die? Do you think it could get that wacky with the multiple choices? I don't know. What you guys reckon? Multiple timelines doesn't make death meaningless. Even in other times, no matter the time, it will always be the same. Destiny may change, but the end result will be there. Well, the whole thing of Destiny with the capital D, and I'm really starting to think this Harbinger. I'm skipping ahead. What's my next frame? Oh yeah, home. Oh God, how cute was this? Can we just get a round of applause for Marlene? Marlene's little voice actress was so hearty, so freaking squee, so innocent, too pure. Like, they've done toddler Marlene so well in this. And just where she, oh, are they coming to take the bar? Are they gonna destroy our house? Oh man, the importance of home getting emphasized so hard in this first part. I feel it's huge. And it was only like, and this is part of why I wish I had more cues for you guys. You know, in my theory, I said, oh, I could see like Barret and Tifa and Yuffie and the others helping to rebuild society fairly, and, you know, the plight of the working class, like representing that when Neo Midgar's rebuilt, if it happens. Just to then see in a scene the president pointing his golden gun at Barret and be like, who's going to help the people rebuild? You? And like, you saw Barret's reaction. I thought that was such a brilliant part, because Barret, even when I wrote the, and I actually found it the other day. I'm too embarrassed to post it. Some people are like, Pez, I want to see your fan fiction, mate. Your fan fiction you wrote. In that, I took Barret's character the exact way they did in this remake. I took it as, well, I actually had Cosmo Canyon destroyed. The flame was put out and it went out on Naniki's tail. And in the rebuilding process, Barret refused to take place in my little fanfiction because of his fear of he can take people who are willing to die into battle and lead them. But ever since his hometown, the choice he made to trust Shinra and getting his entire village destroyed, he has this deep-rooted fear about actively taking a role in rebuilding a society, wherever that one is. I feel we had then Advent Children. Like, did anyone notice that? Like, was that the message they're conveying in Advent Children? No, Barret, he never he never picked up his phone. That was Claude. But Barret was basically away, wasn't he? He was away. I think he was off like coal mining and distracting himself. I really think he's got a fear of that exact thing the president confronted him with, and you could see it in Barret's reaction. So again, is that just another little tee up that some sort of rebuilding of society will take place later down the game? Who freaking knows? Who knows? And that home is an important thing. Oi oi, Captain Makasu. Hello, mate. I want to stay up with these comments because it's just too easy for me to waffle. I wonder if Seth is not aware of the other timelines keeping characters alive and will kill off Well, the kill off is my next frame. I like you guys are following my logic in this chat. So they're killing off. A lot of people said they think it's going to happen. So alive, dead, or Jeffin, that they will kill off other main party members throughout this remake. No, obviously we've seen Barret, so a lot of people are like, is it pointless for them to do Barret again? Can you foresee them killing off any of our main cast? Or, according to my god theory, Sephiroth kills off all of them. So that Cloud breaks, becomes the vessel, essentially like an Omega type weapon. And I'm going to talk about Cloud if he is a weapon later on, because I feel like there's an argument to be had that Cloud could be a weapon himself. Think about it. Well, fuck it, we'll get to that part later. If he kills Tifa, I riot. I've seen that comment a lot, or maybe they could kill Tifa. I think they'll take the whole cast out to break Cloud, and I said he'll be the shepherd, the shepherd of the souls. I still think Pez needs saved from all his theories. Man, I've not even begun Evil God. This is my first form. You have not seen my last, not even close. There's 10 other forms to come. But I mean, that's what I like about this entire subject and this entire conversation to talk about theories is Square Enix they left enough hints to definitely allude to stuff, but they've left it open-ended enough that a myriad of possibilities can happen, and I'm loving going on theory videos and seeing no one's being forceful with their theories and no one's being bitchy about theories. I'm seeing people like, wow, that's a cool idea. Just a bit far-fetched, but I like it. That's possible. Like, it's an open-ended conversation that Square Enix have beautifully, magically created a real hype and buzz and conversation going around this first part that would not have happened with a like for like. Not even. I imagine what would be the conversation now if that had just ended like for like. Hello, Sparks15, you beautiful bugger, you. How have you been? Oh man, this music though. Music throughout this game was gorgeous. I'm so loving editing videos again now. I've got great music to work with. But yeah, Sephiroth may kill, may not, who freaking knows. But this part here is what I want to bring up. So what is this Sephiroth's goal in your eyes, guys? I'll throw it over to you. Because we could assume that this is still Big Bad Sephiroth who wants to take over the Lifestream. But again, why would he want to take over the Lifestream? Well, Sephiroth eventually wants to travel the cosmos, and to do that he has to somehow bridge the gap between the Lifestream of Gaia and the cosmic galactic Lifestream. But this Sephiroth is just one of many Sephiroths. I can't remember who the others were, but I think the Ultimania emphasized this, that there's multiple versions of Sephiroth. I think they said there's like a memory Sephiroth, a clone Sephiroth. There was like another one, I don't know if you guys can remind me. Dark Quinn! Do Quinn dropping tips on this tinfoil hat nuttiness? Thank you, mate. Cheers, Pez. Thank you, Do Quinn. But yeah, is this Sephiroth just looking to do that? The same goal, the same thing? Or is this a good Sephiroth? Now, I'm not going to say I'm alive on this one. I'm not dead. I'm Jeffing on this. But some people have said, and I think it was the translation thing, it was the difference between the pronouns that were used. The or pronoun is what this Sephiroth in this scene is using, versus the Watashi. Now, the Watashi is after Sephiroth went crazy, which in my mind is after Sephiroth got her claws in his mind, convinced him she was his mother, convinced him he was a Cetra, convinced him he was this Messiah or built the Messiah complex. And I've always seen Genova's Sephiroth as individuals whose goals are similar enough for them to be aligned, but they're not the same goals. And we actually see, when Sephiroth starts taking over the clones and like they're sacrificing himself in the crater, Sephiroth's willpower is overdoing Genova's. Like there's a battle of minds. So what I'm wondering is if the or and Watashi pronouns are being used. Oh shit, I've jumped way ahead. She's coming. Is to say that this is Sephiroth pre-Genova influence. But some people have said this is good Seph because everything he's saying about our planet is dying. Cloud, help me, take my hand. What is it else he said? Yeah, he talks about preventing a catastrophe and saving a dying planet. Now, I can't imagine them doing a good Seph under any circumstances, but perhaps they're doing a full clarity Sephiroth that maybe will go some of the way towards helping Cloud. Like they could do like a Noctis Arden type thingy. Everything about him is wrong. That's the thing, that's what Aerith said about Sephiroth. But does she actually know which Sephiroth has come back? Imagine having him in our party. Whoa. Well, there's only one other thing I could see going towards a good Sephiroth. Or not good, I don't want to use the word good, because I don't think nothing is either good or bad, I only think it makes it so. A more nuanced Sephiroth, I think, is a better word. That's what I'd like to see. A more nuanced Sephiroth that isn't out for world destruction, just complete destruction, which I think Genova would be more thumbs up for. Maybe this Sephiroth post or broken free from Genova's influence sees the nuance of the situation on the planet and knows that he has to first save it, in which he'd have any hope of having power over it. So this is exactly what happened with Shinra. You know, Shinra, they wanted power for themselves, but the second the planet was actually in jeopardy, well, you can't rule over ash, you can't rule over dust. So Shinra kind of became the good guys to help that. I'm wondering if Sephiroth has found some sort of middle ground. And I say this also because of Genesis. So Dead, Alive, or Jeffin. Genesis will come into the story when when Genesis came back, picked up Weiss's body and said that the planet had more for them to do. Do you think that they will not necessarily just bring him back, but involve that theme in the game somehow, in some way, Dead, Alive, or Jeffin? It'd be Dead, Alive, or Jeffin. I saw that today, Evil, when when you put Rude in sleep status, he starts muttering Reno's name. The bro love between Reno and Rude was strong. Bloody strong. Bordering on yayoi? Is that how you say it? Yaoi? Yayoi. Fuck it. I don't know. Shall I quickly type into Google? Let me type into Google how to spell it. What could possibly go wrong? Yayoi. I ain't gonna type that. You be Jeffin on that one. Alive. I mean, they mentioned G-cells. They reference G-cells. So canonically in this game, Genesis has to be a thing. Too bad he's programmed to hit Tifa in the remake. What, Rude? Now he took it easy on Rude. Like, he countered her attack and just gave her a neck chop. Rude was being real gentle. Paz, your Japanese is something special. I know. But you get me. But anyway, the one other huge thing I can see, and you've seen her face already, I could see being a factor, Alive, Dead, or Jeffin, this woman. Lucretia. Oh. And Lucretia is the ace in the hole to this story. I feel possibly the ace in the hole to the entire thing. If there is a Sephiroth that is looking to manipulate time, change destiny, to do something for the course of the planet, good or bad, could him finding out his real mother, could even Lucretia, I don't know, being alive, because we're going to go into how the timeline split or deviated, or if there was a timeline shift at all. Like, it's kind of similar to Zanarkand. In FF10, there was no time travel. There's a theory that there was no time travel in that ending, or timelines being created. And this will lead into why Lucretia could be alive. But do you think she's not alive, not dead, just in stasis? So you don't think that she will play a role, that she'll come out of stasis somehow, and that she will connect with Sephiroth? Or I don't know, I just feel like Sephiroth's real mum is out there. There could be something in there. He could kill Lucretia. Vincent adopts Sephiroth. Just Sephiroth gets Vincent, Lucretia, mum and dad, lives happily ever after. Could Seph had found out this truth whilst he was in the Lifestream? That's the thing, we really don't know how much Seph knows. And the argument, I think someone has actually created a really cool timeline. I can't remember who the user was. I think I've got it here. I'll be covering this bit. Someone's actually created a timeline of where they think Seph's got his memories from, and when he's come back to before the events of even Zack's death. I'm gonna go to my notes. I'm curious to see how they handle Yuffie and Vincent. Man, I can't wait for Yuffie. She's gonna be so annoying. Yeah, this timeline is hectic as hell and it's crazy to break down, but I'll be breaking this down in a minute because all the places that the ghosts had an influence, when it happened, why it happened, and this might help us build a bigger picture of what the hell is going on in this game. But what is my next slide? Trying to frame this kind of conversation is nuts. Why can't I switch to my next frame? 2 secs. Here we go. Yeah, so this frame was for that idea that Sephiroth could be looking to get Gaia's Lifestream connected with the Cosmos one. Again, this is something we saw in Dirge. We actually saw, the scene where the characters are stood there in space. They're seeing like stuff flash off across the galaxy. This is why I feel like, very quickly, this color scheme as well. Has anyone seen the purple color scheme links? Hello, Karina, mate. Seph does not look anything like Hojo. That's one of my pet peeves. I know, it's really strange. It's really strange, the Lucretia Hojo Sephiroth parenting ting. But yeah, the purple colour scheme. So this is one of the clever things, as well as music, Square were doing throughout the game to hint of where Sephiroth has corrupted the flow of destiny, the destiny stream, we'll call it. We saw the Harbinger, the big giant Harbinger. He was purple. Where is it? There it is. Like containing like this purple essence within, which some have theorized that is Sephiroth's corruption. You'll see certain ghosts that appear and intervene in weird ways with a hue of purple over them. Like you'd always have like the smaller whispers, and then the bigger ones we fight had like a purple hue on them. Kind of hinting, and I think we even see in the alleyway at the start, like a flash of purple in the back. This is, I think, the Kadaj, Loz, and Yuzu thing that they've already infiltrated Destiny and they're manipulating it, they're controlling it. But one really cool thing that someone said, and are you alive, dead, or be Jeffin? That the Harbinger of Fate, well, for one, has Sephiroth become the Harbinger? And two, is the Harbinger of Fate a planet weapon? Just like Omega, so you had like the normal weapons, which if any of you have a theory on how they're going to tie the weapons into this main remake, the weapons come when there's a threat, like a physical threat. They're the boots on the ground. They're the frontline soldiers. Then the planet will create Omega. That's the last resort. That's the shit. Let's gobble up our souls and get the fuck out of here. I'm wondering if this Harbinger is similarly another weapon, but it's the one that the planet creates when Destiny is getting fecked up. Like a planet response, that if the Whispers can't do their role to keep things on track, the planet sends out its ultimate defense system, and this is the hard reset button. The Harbinger is the hard reset. Shit, the planet's Wi-Fi ain't working, let's reset that fucking modem. And that's what Sephiroth has now infiltrated, maybe even become. Alive, dead, or be Jeffin. Alive, dead, or be Jeffin. Yeah, the tiaras, India. Yeah, the tiaras are all shaped like the weapons. I was so blind on those tiaras. But yeah, like the ruby weapon ones, they got like these big side bit on the tiara for the arms. I thought that was really cool. The Whispers are a defense mechanism of the planet, so technically it is a kind of other weapon. Seth hacked the modem. But yeah, the weapons will be nuts. But I also at the same time think, where are they going to take them? Where are they going to take them? Because this is where we go into the Big Bang Theory. So the Big Bang Theory is, I've been trying to wrap my head around the timelines. So it really seems like the obvious route is that the timeline split. After they crossed the portal, they opened up a timeline where now Boundless Terrifying Freedom laid ahead. But what really confused me was obviously flashing back to Zack's timeline after Destiny is destroyed and we get all the sparkles coming down. So the idea here that someone presented, let's see if I can find the name because they definitely deserve credit for this one. I'll leave it in my notes. That was it, Sleep Easy. Shout out to Sleep Easy. They did like an hour-long video. It was freaking amazing. All the color scheme stuff. But yeah, the Big Bang Theory is that the OG timeline, so the one we see Zack where this happens, is still the original timeline. And that there hasn't been some alternate timeline created. It's just that as Destiny has been destroyed, all the places where the Whispers and Destiny intervened in the past no longer happens. So the events change. And the big hint is obviously the crisp packet. The crisp packet looks like it is a different stamp, it's a different breed of dog. And that makes you go, so this is a different timeline. But it's the fact that the flavor is original. It says original on the packet, which makes some people think that a Big Bang Theory type event happened that rippled up and down the timeline. So after this after Fate was destroyed and after this scene played, that loads of different events just changed in history, but it's still the same timeline. So places where the Whispers intervene never happened. So Zack, for example, we saw the ghosts floating around the soldiers. Does that mean that the ghosts, when Zack originally died, were there and they made sure he died? No, because it happens at the same time. As Destiny is destroyed, Zack lives. So it makes me think that the ghosts just didn't intervene. Just some random alternative timeline, not the OG timeline. So where do you guys, because I've really been thinking, what's the point of Zack being alive? If it is a timeline, it's the same timeline. What was essentially the point? Is it to just do some Laguna style crossovers, some like Zack and Cloud going on a journey, learning lessons, maybe influencing things, passing stuff over to the timeline, just for that to eventually converge on the main timeline, lessons converge into some sort of like ultimate finale type thing? That's what I thought, like something is just small like that. No, yeah, a little bit of, I guess, Heaven 91, a little bit of fan service that will eventually just merge with the original timeline and make just a bit of emotional difference to the story. Like lessons. Zack being alive has to tie into Aerith's story. But yeah, like I said in my level 10 God Cloud theory, how much does Aerith actually remember? And I think this ties really cool into when you look back over all the places that the ghosts got involved. Of course, some people can see them and some people can't. Somebody had a really cool description explaining that they think it's because the people who can see it is people who have memories of that future that the ghosts are influencing. So if you can't see it, then you didn't have a role in it. So for example, the soldiers, when Cloud's like, are you guys blind? How can you not see this? Obviously Cloud kills that guy, so that's why they can't see the ghosts. But I don't see how that ties in with like Jesse and Biggs, like they all saw the ghosts and stuff. So it's really strange to me who sees the ghosts and who don't and why. Song couldn't, that's it, Song. I'm going to keep calling him Song. Yeah, Song couldn't see them. Even though obviously he survived the whole timeline. But final battle, Zack versus Sephiroth. ABC Cloud versus Cloud. What's ABC Cloud? I got to thinking about when Hojo said they had soldier genes, S&G. I'm thinking with the two timelines, Zack the hero of one and Genesis is the villain of the others. Like in this other timeline, Zack encounters Genesis. It all sounds, even to me, it all sounds too much. And this is what I see a lot of people with theory crafting is you say stuff and a lot of people are like, no, not happening, too far. So mate, they've already gone too far. The line has already been fucking crossed, mate. Sometimes, I like even in my last video, I would summarize things that Square actually did in this remake, and I'd have some people comment and go, nah, you're overthinking it. I'm like, no, that part wasn't overthinking. That was me stating something Square actually did. We're beyond the part of overthinking now. What if future Red 13 is communicating with present Aerith? I think there's something in Red, very specifically, why he knew so much so quickly. Like, he seemed to jump really quick in his plot ghosts evolution. I personally like the God Cloud theory that it's because of those who are in touch with their intuition. Like all of these different things that come into these characters, whether it's deja vu, whether it's a dream, whether it's just a encounter with someone that makes them feel a little bit slighted. Someone who is very intuitive, like a creature, like Red 13 would be, like Aerith certainly would be, like Zack Fair 100% is. That boy is all intuition. The pup is all intuition. I feel like that is what is making some characters learn way more and far more knowledgeable and far more integrating with the visions the plot ghosts are giving them. Like Aerith, for example, she sees the importance of things like synchronicity, symbolism, something like a flower. She could hand it and be like, oh, this is reunion, boom. She could make some sort of intuitive, I don't know, assumption or understanding about it. Red has probably an important role in Aerith's plan. Well, I mean, imagine if that's why Red's running to that canyon to roar over Midgar. That's what I like the God Cloud theory. Make it happen, Square. But the reason he's running over to Midgar is because he caught a sense of something and he has to be in that place, in that time for a reason. Humanity comes back at that point. I don't know. Why are you running in the canyon, Red? Why are you running? I've waffled that long enough. So Big Bang Theory, essentially, it altered all of the timeline, including the OGs. That's why Cloud and Seph went to the edge of creation. The same explosion that you see, you know when Seph and Cloud meet in the battle, and there's that big flash of like white light. You then skip to Zack getting blown over, like he gets pushed back and he falls down. So that explosion, that big bang, edge of the creation moment, has basically altered all of time. It's basically been restarted. A whole new timeline has, not timeline created, but the timeline's just completely changed. Events and people have been completely altered because of the Big Bang, the edge of creation. Jonathan, what up, mate? Thank you. And Javan Naloons, hello, mate. Hashtag Aerith must live. Who agrees with Javan on that? Should Aerith live? Right, pardon me, Pez, I may not remember right, but was it explained how Aerith knew Marlene or the Barret as her father? Yeah, see, that's one of the things, Golden Witch. I said, were these times where Aerith just out and out exposed how much she knew? Save Marlene, right? Now, I know she was in the train graveyard, but I kind of thought only Tifa could see Marlene's vision, visage on the ghost. I couldn't get from the scene that Marlene knew about Aerith knew about Marlene. But even regardless, Tifa's reaction when Aerith was like, "You went to get Marlene, right?" She's like, "Huh?" She was taken aback by it. So I definitely think, and I just want to say, guys, I'm so hyped for my second playthrough of this. So hyped. Not just for the hard mode, but my friend Carl has been playing it, and I can't look at the game the same. I can't look at the first meeting even between Aerith and Cloud and just not have this, how much do you know? How much do you know, Aerith? And there's loads of little things throughout. So another scene Carl just got up to, I was watching the other day, is when Tifa's on the back of the wagon getting hauled off by Chocobo Sam. Tifa's like, I can handle myself, I'm just going to interrogate the Dom. And Cloud's like, alright, cool, see you later. Good luck with that. And it's actually, and he's generally going to fuck off. And it's Aerith who goes, no, you got to go in there, Cloud. Cloud's like, nah, why? She's fine. And then Aerith says, it's the Dom. No matter how smart you think you are, he'll always outsmart you somehow. How do you know that, Aerith? You've never met the Don. She never met the Don, and yet she says that to convince Cloud to go. She must know something. Go for the plat trophy, Pez. How did Aerith know about Zack's feelings in clouds? Ooh, all gains. When was that? When was that shown? But yeah, that's what I think is genius, is this complete subversion of the narrative that Square Enix have pulled off. Makes every scene just have this whole other meaning. Like every line, the number of lines I've seen, I'd be like, oh my god, like they could just be superficially saying that, but oh my god, it could mean that. I think Square Enix have done something really genius with this. I think it was Jim Sterling who said, whether you think it's shit genius or good genius, it's fucking genius regardless. It really is. Like in terms of plot subversion, this is next level. When she said it's not real pairs. I mean, yeah, that entire line, but I mean, but tying that into how did she know about Zack's feelings? I never thought that's all about Zack's feelings. I'm more chalked that up to Aerith knows she's gonna have to die, and she's telling Cloud, don't fall in love with me. Oh, but if it's not real, even if you think you have, it's not real. It's because it's Zack's emotion. See, a whole other meaning, possible. Wow, goddamn. All right, what's next on my slide? By the way, is there another little? Yeah, that's the Big Bang. That's the point of the Big Bang. Again, the purple theme that is swirling around it. Definitely think they might have pulled it from the OG. You know, the Sephiroth's coming down, it's got that purple vortexy vibe. I feel like that's kind of the point of the purple, is to show if this is future Sephiroth, and I think it probably is at this point. By the way, does the Ultimania ever mention anything about multiverses or parallel timelines? So has it explicitly said it yet? But either way, even up past Advent Children, a lot of people have been affected with Genova cells, and that wasn't concluded in Advent Children, even though they drink the water, the kids, and Geostigma heals. It's revealed later down the line in the timeline, people still have the Genova infection. I mean, Cloud's one of them. All the time there's going to be a soldier on the planet, there's going to be someone with Genova cells, and someone also suggested that maybe this is what this is all about, that until all Genova is purged from the planet and influences, Genova will never be gone, Sephiroth will never be gone, and that's what this game has to go for, which is why a lot of people are saying, remember, Alive Dead will be Jeffin, Cloud's gonna have to die. Pez affected by Genova cells. My brain is hot on the Genova. Genova Dull pretty hot. Genova Dull, in fact, has that armoured chest plate, right? Sort of that female armoured chest plate. Who else has that? Jessie. Jessie's Genova confirmed! Woo! Alright, I'm being facetious. Advent Children looks remarkably good for a 14-year-old movie? Yeah, I mean, it's because they built up that was Spirits Within. I'll say they built a whole set up in Hawaii. I think this was Spirits Within, and what was it they spent? I think it was saying like 40 million on this studio that they built in Hawaii. I think they only produced Spirits Within before it flopped, and Sony had to take back some of the hits, or they had to share some of the losses. But yeah, Advent Children. Brilliant looking, I agree. Oh, Prodigix is dropping some big text. Sorry if I'm missing any of your comments. Where is it, Prodigix? Prodigix? Has anyone given any thoughts to how Aerith's actions are completely selfish and she knew Defying Fate would bring Zack back to her, or at least hope to? Maybe Aerith is the big bad. I saw this on Twitter, Steel Angel. I don't know if anyone, if that was you or someone else. Somebody said, has Aerith started doing questionable things? Like, I think someone on Twitter said it was like when Wedge was saying about how he felt like they were going to get destroyed by the plate and there was nothing they could do. And just Aerith's responses to that. I feel like Aerith is probably having to be put in the place of a villain or doing villainous things. Like, if she knows that some people can survive or die, I mean, well, she did get people evacuated out. I don't know. I just think, I know that line with Aerith saying, every time I come in touch with the ghost, I lose a part of myself. That could be her morality on life as one. That could also be her future memories slipping away from her or being altered. It could also be having the fact that she has to deceive and lie and walk a grey line of morality. I don't think they will ever get Aerith doing something out and out evil, just like you won't get Sephiroth being out and out a good guy. But I feel like if they explore the nuances with Sephiroth, and there's a lot of nuances, and they explore them with Aerith, maybe we come into that point that I really wanted to drive home in my God theory, that I feel Aerith and Sephiroth are the two tutors of Cloud, and that they both have valuable, important, and valuable lessons to teach him, and that Cloud has to find the middle ground between judgment and mercy, between passive negligence and out and out condemnation. I think that would be cool. What's Winfaber saying? Also in account, Sephiroth normally right out attacks Cloud when he meets him. He seemed more hesitant and in control when he met him at the edge of creation. He also never mentioned his mother Genova. That's exactly why I brought up the Lucretia screen, Winfaber. And the whole thing of how I think that perhaps the pronouns is post or pre-Genova influence Sephiroth, and that maybe this Sephiroth is, he's more in control. Maybe he has all his memories before he lost his mind, because there was even times he seemed to be looking at Cloud with like weird mixes between compassion, admiration. I don't know. You like, there's so much in this game that you can get a feeling of, because of the amazing expressiveness of this game. Like, facial expressions in this game. I can't be the only one who just fell head over heels in love with looking at them and getting like multiple meanings from it. Like, I think it was it Barret? It's Barret when he's at the Portal of Destiny. You know, he says about spitting in the eye, and he like looks and he just closes his hands. And there's this weird flick of emotion in his face that it says like a million things, but of course you can never out and out say what that is. But there's so much in the faces. I think that's for cinematic purposes. I mean, Amano, there's every single one of these like plot elements we've discussed and what I've been going down the rabbit hole with. So much I just back away and go, that was for drama's sake. That was just for effect. I think you're right. I think there's so much that could be in this just because Square Enix wanted to make a juicy, hype, dramatic first part that had some huge showdowns. And I really thought that so much the whole way through my first playthrough. That's why I dismissed all the hints. I dismissed all of the, that's when I started questioning characters' motivations and choices, and I was like, okay, well, I guess we're just going for a full rounded game feel, and I dismissed it. But none of it was for drama. All of it had a meaning. Why does Seth tell Cloud to hold on to that hatred? Does Seth tell Cloud that? It's interesting, because that's what Barret also tells Tifa. I mean, despair is going to be huge in this remake series, which I do hope that they call it Relive. Was it Relive, Remake, Relive, and Reunion? I like that naming scheme. I think it's pretty cool. Who thinks Weapon will be the final boss of the second part? Ooh, well, I think you're moving us on nicely to our next part. Anything you guys want to add on that before we move? I know we're jumping through loads of plot elements, but there's a really cool treasure trove of story that Square Enix need to get in with this frame. Yeah, his first meeting with Sephiroth, he says that. Really hold on to that anger. Ooh. That really mirrors. I feel like if that's the case, if both of those scenes were said, hold on to that anger at when the sector plate had collapsed, Barret said it to Tifa, and now Sephiroth said it to Cloud. What if the reason they're saying that is, again, it goes to the God Cloud theory, or not even just that, but any outcome of this story where Cloud has to make a choice, and that Sephiroth wants Cloud to make the wrong choice. Now that might be keeping Aerith alive, you know, it might be simply the story staying on the same rails. Seph wants Cloud to keep Aerith alive, or try to, so that Holy doesn't get summoned, and he breaks under the weight of his own choice. But that's what I feel like, hold on to that hatred, aka, you know, when Tifa's going, oh, we caused this, you know, maybe we should stop what we're doing, look how much destruction we've caused, and Barret says, no, hold on to that anger. That's like saying, no, let your choice be influenced. Let anger be present when you make a choice. Imagine Sephiroth said that, because yeah, when Cloud has made that choice, let anger be present, let despair be present, let your choice be altered by dark. Man, there's such a darkness and light and Kingdom Heartsiness to this whole thing. I keep seeing it, people going, oh, the 7 remake was so good, until Nomura went away, started introducing all of his Kingdom Heartsy bullshit. Does anyone feel that way, or seen those comments? Is it because you can stay whole in the live stream? Oh, Jada, that's a great idea. That's true. So one of the huge things about Jessie in Maiden Who Travels Through the Planet, a little book that was released, and I started calling it before the remake. I was like, oh, I hope they go with the theme of Jessie being trapped in the live stream as an individual because of her choices, because of things like regret, guilt, anger, all of that stuff. When you have all of that, it individualizes you in the live stream. You can't move on. You're in like purgatory, and Aerith has to come in and help Jessie, Biggs and Wedge move on. They ran that so hard home that maybe, yeah, those emotions will keep you an individual in the live stream, and maybe that'll play a role. Actually, oh, someone's jumping. Yeah, it's part of the live stream White and Black. I've actually got some White and Black quotes here, because you're right, it's part of the live stream White and Black. Let's skip to that now. So a user called Taelia, so this isn't anything to do with this frame, they noted that On the Way to a Smile was done in 2005, same as KH2, I guess. And that was supposedly the same time Nomura said that he started working on a remake scenario. 2005. So Taelia brought that up and said that, well, if Nomura's brain was working on the way to a smile, that KH game, you know, and we see that the Sephiroth and Cloud, they both have to disappear, like they're two parts of the same coin. But yeah, in Livestream White 2, Aerith comes to an understanding that Sephiroth is using Cloud as his tether to keep returning. So Aerith finally recognised it. Shit, it's Cloud that Sephiroth is using to pin himself to the planet. What's she going to do with that bit of information? Then Livestream White 3, it is stated that Aerith figured out Sephiroth's plan, and it is suggested that she also figured out Sephiroth's method of persisting indefinitely through other people also. But she wanted to return to Cloud in the way he knew her. Wow. So, I mean, that's massive. Livestream White 3, she figures out Sephiroth's plan, how he's coming back, what his future plans is, and that she wants to return to Cloud, but in a way that he remembers her. And here we are, the remake! Fuck! That is so freaking juicy. That was written years ago. So Nomura's had this cooking potentially a while. And that's exactly what Aerith has done. She's returned to Cloud in a time and a place you remember her. And I need to go and play the original again. I really do. But there was just too much in the way that Aerith like laughed and giggled about Cloud's mannerisms, and like she knew he'd respond to things in the way, and it just feels too much like she's enjoying re-meeting Cloud. That's what I feel when I'm watching it. She's enjoying it again. She's returned to Cloud the way he remembers, and she's just loving this moment together. Stop acting like you know me. Yeah, that's exactly what Cloud said. Stop acting like you know me. So even Cloud was getting to say that in a pissy way. Even he was getting a vibe. Oh, is that the end of our soundtrack? Well, let's play it again. Man, relaxing FF7 music. So good. So good. Alright. So quickly we'll jump at anything on that point. I'm just going to go for a quick pee. Is any of this making sense? Is anyone's tinfoil hat too toasty? Hopefully I'm keeping this as a good format. Anything you guys want to add? I'm just going to have a quick pee, and I'll see what you guys think. I can see Jenova as a main antagonist in Remake. Remember when she directly calls Cloud a puppet in the OG? Oh, quickly talking about that, because yeah, Jenova spoke to Cloud a lot of the time. I'm never going to go for a piss, am I? She talked to Cloud a lot in those just ambiguous bits of text. What I've been wondering is, one of the lines that we saw in the original was, back then we always used to scrape our knees. Fall over and scrape our knees. Cloud in one scene talking to another Cloud on the floor. Now obviously I always just thought, okay, well that's just a bit of trippy wacky plot device. But what if that Cloud who's speaking to Cloud on the floor is the one from the Zack Cloud timeline? If indeed it is a running alongside timeline, that Cloud who has all of his memories of his childhood, he hasn't forgotten them all. He hasn't got the Zack confusion complex, and that Cloud is talking to this one. The Cloud that does remember his childhood is talking about scraping his knees to this one who is lost. That's maybe why that Zack and Cloud timeline is there, is to offer clarity to this Cloud. Maybe? I want Jenova to talk to us. Do you think they're going to add much to Jenova's backstory, or do you think there's no need? Like, Jenova is a mysterious alien calamity from the skies, and that's supposed to be what it is. It's just a Jenova thick. Jenova was a stripper from planet Venus. I mean, technically Venus does exist. When Sephiroth does his final ting, we do see Pluto, we do see Jupiter. It's all there. Right, so going on to this frame. Hopefully we're all staying alongside each other. Just see his comments. Jenova is the defeated sorceress from FF8. Mate, I really thought once upon a time it'd be cool if it was Luna. 15's Luna. That she has to take the Scourge and fuck off the planet with it and becomes Jenova. One could hope. Well, actually, I don't know. That'd probably be crap. But anyway, this frame here. So, we saw the really cool Ancient Cinematic, which, again, I can't help but think that Ancient Cinematic and that entire VR section was massively hinting to stuff. So not only after we see the Ancient scene, when it then flickers back on and it's Sephiroth killing people, you notice it flickered purple again. And then it went into it again. I think that's... And I think even from the laboratory, when you're following and the blood on the floor is all purpley. I'm convinced the colour purple must be the corruption of Jenova, and obviously Hojo's got Jenova hooked up to the machine, so technically Jenova could control, I guess, the electrics of the Shinra Electric Company, and that's why the VR went as trippy as it did. But before it did, we saw this. Now, on the right, that is a statue of Minerva. So Minerva is obviously a goddess that represents the will of the Lifestream, and one of the huge parts of the game that I think has to come up is huge materia. All the different huge materials that's in the game. We see Scarlet trying to create a huge materia in the laboratory, and it explodes, and a little gimp goes crawling out. But huge materia, and we see in this scene people creating materia, like Cetra's, who were able to craft it. Now, has anyone played the recent Lord of the Rings games? Anyone know Celebrimbor? Celebrimbor. So Celebrimbor is like one of the original ring creators in the game. So like you have like ring forgers. It'd be cool if the ancients had something similar to that, like proficient hierarchies within the Cetra race, and some of them were materia forgers. And that those materia forgers imparted some of themselves into the materia. So maybe the huge materia that we have, we see in Crisis Core, it's called the Goddess Materia. It's a piece of huge materia that is there at the Minerva statue. One of them created it, and that I feel we should see who created the white. Because maybe that was many of them. Maybe all of the materia forgers got together to create the white, and a planetary defense. A Cetra planetary defense. Should it be harmed? That's the ultimate way to protect. But then who created the black? So when it comes to this subject of materia forging, do you think it's an alive topic that Square Enix should explore? Dead? Or do you be jeffing? What's the purpose of the black materia? Well, I mean, I guess it would be similar to Chaos. I mean, we know why the planet created Chaos, Vincent, which is, yeah, to nuke humanity, and then Omega will carry it off if needed. But the black materia, to actually hit the planet, I can't think of why some materia crafting Cetra would ever create that. So maybe one of them went rogue, Sauron style, baby. Sauron style. I don't know, I think it would be cool to see who created these materials. And the reason why I think it's so important and ties into the story is because Minerva, piece of goddess materia, she's there to enact the will of the Lifestream. She condemns Genesis back to the depths. He's not ready. He hasn't learnt enough. And I think it's huge because beneath the statue is a healing pool or something that heals. I can't remember. I played Crisis Core so long ago. There was something under the statue that basically healed that was the same as beneath the flower bed in Aerith's garden. And that there's kind of like these portals, it's like these tunnels underneath the planet that you can travel. That's why when Cloud falls in it, you know, he winds up at what's the town he winds up in after he falls in? But anyway, Sephiroth falls in it in Nibelheim, and then he ends up at the Northern Crater. Similarly, I think there's all these links. Midil, that was it. Midil, Cloud that ends up in Midil. I feel like there's like this undercity network of like Lifestream routes and connections, and that's really emphasized in this with Minerva and how she travels, and the fact that beneath Aerith's flower bed, in Advent Children, when it gets destroyed, it comes up and it's a healing pool, the same as the statue. I feel in some way Aerith must be connected to either Minerva, communing with her, or just her ancient ancestors. And I'd love to see that all play a role. Who created the materials? The white, the black? How will huge materia get involved in this game? It was kind of like a throwaway, what I felt was like a little bit of a throwaway theme. In the original, the whole huge materia stuff, it had a purpose, but it was a bit shoehorned in. I think they could go so much further with that. It'd be dank. Isn't black materia corrupted Lifestream in materia form, though? Yeah, I mean, the question is, why would it summon a meteor from space? I'm curious how huge the huge materia will actually be. As big as Scarlet's chest, we can but hope. We can but hope. Why is the black materia turned into the temple? Well, the reason for that is because they don't want anyone to be able to take it for their own selfish means. It's a bit of a shit defense, really. Defense system. But basically, if anyone tries to activate it, the temple crush. So the person who tried to activate it will get squished, hence Sith gets squished. Obviously, it's not a really great plan. Though Sephiroth could just send in one of his failed clone goons to get it, but we already discussed why he can't do that, because Sephiroth got a different goal. He got a different goal, and I can't help but think that instead of like going for the Lifestream like the original, because Gaia's Lifestream, small fries, he wants the Cosmos Lifestream. He wants the one that goes throughout all of creation, and that exists. That is a thing in this universe. Yeah, huge materia is artificial, absolutely. Yeah, I guess this is kind of like humans trying to do what the Cetra did back then, trying to create it, but they're just doing it by merging material that's already pre-existing. And this moves me on to my next point, because another inherently, besides just the cosmos, the materia, another thing is the planet's connection with machines. Machines are a thing, and this was explained really well in Crisis Core. So Minerva, she has like this clockwork thing on her back, as well as these white wings, and there's the whole symmetry with the white wings, the black wings. But I won't cover that right now. But apparently the Lifestream does have a synergy with machinery. Natural synergy with machinery. Like it can make machinery work and run and even take the form of machinery. Hence why Minerva has like this intricate clockwork thing on her back. Hence why weapons are created, Omega's created. And all I can think is, hold up, is this the whole point I want to make? Minerva, yeah, so besides just the Fate being, the Harbinger of Fate being another weapon machine created by the planet, I'm wondering, dead, alive, or Jeffin, who thinks Cloud could be a weapon, a machine, a biological, organic one created by the Lifestream? And the only reason I say it is, obviously, we now know Cloud's mum's name, Claudia. It has Cloud in. Claudia. But we've never known who's Cloud's dad is. Now, I don't really think this is a huge thing, you know, did we ever find out who Sora's parents are? Like, maybe it's just one of those things they never really mentioned, but it just feels, to this point, Cloud is so unexplained. He doesn't have a dad. We don't know why he's so powerful. Like, Cloud is so powerful. Like, naturally so powerful, not even after the Mako enhancements. Remember, the whole thing that sets up this game is Cloud, a regular old soldier, gets stabbed by Sephiroth. Somehow he picks Sephiroth up on the other end and then lobs him. Sephiroth's on the other end, he's like, impossible! He literally says impossible. And Cloud just fucks him up. This guy who is able to literally run bloody up buildings, cut them in half, fly through vortexes of Bahamut rays to slice him up. This guy is so strong at this point. It's like his body is unbreakable. And I can't help but think, man, is that a weapon? Is Cloud a freaking weapon or something? Is he some sort of immaculate conception? So, most people think dead, and I agree. I'm kind of siding with dead as well. Like, that'd be too crazy. I don't want this to. I do not want the remake to get too convoluted and its head up its own arse. And I really think the first part balanced that, where you can have the remake that doesn't go too crazy, but at the same time hint and reference and allude and weave in things that give them just stories, layers of other meaning. He's an anime weapon, Pez. It's just the power of anime. Big Brain Theory. Jenova has been manipulating Sephiroth all the time. He's just like Cloud. Troubled good guy with Jenova cells. Well, that's why I wanted in this video today is to consider the possibility that Sephiroth is a bit more woke. His goals are different. His goals aren't shoehorned by Jenova, and maybe Lucretia could come in to bring back that good guy. I don't know. Cloud's plot armor is over 9,000. So no one thinks it's weird that the dad's not been mentioned. Oh man, this music. Alright. So yeah, machinery has an integral role within the game. It's not like this unnatural, abhorrent thing to the planet. I mean, we even saw, didn't we, in this city, in the Ancient cinematic, the Ancients actually had airships. They had machinery. See some airships flying around in the background. I feel like they've definitely put that in to hint at we're going to get a lot more machiney type stuff later on. Did Sephiroth lose his legs when Cloud threw him in his live stream? I don't know about Sephiroth's legs, but someone said to me Biggs lost his arm. And that brings me back to the Big Bang Theory, actually, and this will be one of the last frames. What was I just saying? Did Biggs lose an arm? That tipped off some other point I was going to mention. I can't remember now. Johnny's dad is Claude's dad. Man, Johnny is so over the top. He's definitely on the spectrum somewhere. He's somewhere, but bless him. Just in the bloody Don's tournament where he's just messed up, his face all mushed. Oh, Johnny. Pez, I have a theory that we will go alternative route in part 2 and we will end up at Wu Tai. Who thinks perhaps we could actually end up in a war with Wu Tai? You know, they've been referencing this war so much. I can't see it being like OG. They've done all that just to be like, oh yeah, we've got like a peace treaty where if Wu Tai don't use materia, all's good. What if they actually go on, the war's going to happen? War with Wu Tai actually go down. Mad theory. In the reality where Zack is alive, could be much easier for Sephiroth to take over due to him being like Marco. What if Sephiroth uses Cloud's body to steal Jenova and then... Man, there's so many ways they could take that Zack timeline. No. Will Zack be at the fight? Will Sephiroth go over and manipulate things there? I don't know. The ceasefire is now fucked. Oh man, there was a point now I'm trying to bring back to my mind. I can't remember it. Alright, what's my last slides? Oh yeah, the Barret line. Nothing to do with this frame, but when Barret, I liked it when he said, Cloud, give me something to hold on to. You know when he thinks they're all dead and Cloud said Marlene's alive and he's like, give me something to hold on to. And then Cloud doesn't, and then Barret's like, I'd probably tear your head off. Right, I'd probably tear your head off if you did. I can't help but think that again that was some like double messaging about Aerith's death. Like, give me some hope that Aerith might survive. Something to hold on to. And then the I'd probably tear your head off is what fans would do if they did or didn't. Cloud's dad is a Cetra, but he can't hear planet due to Jenova. Well, I like the idea of Cloud not being a Cetra because I like the symmetry between... Oh god, I've accidentally moved on to my FF7 Remake memes that's been coming out. Don't know. Oh yeah, no, hold up. There's one I've got to quickly show you guys. This is bloody beautiful. You've probably seen it already. Hold up. Let's see if I can find this. Where is it? This is bloody beautiful. Oh, fuck. Oh, that's the one thing Reddit does really well. Bloody memes. Oh, feels bad, man. Jared Painsborough, Jesus. Anyway, yeah, I can't remember this last point I was going to leave off on. It's really bothered me, and I know the second I'll shut down the stream, it'll come back to me. But yeah, I liked what someone said in another theory video I watched. Is what I just find beautiful that they've done with this remake is we can never have back. I feel like it ties in so well with this whole thing about trying to change destiny or where the story's going, is it kind of like mirrors our own desires to recreate how the original made us feel. Like there's so many people who they just want to feel the same way they did when they were a kid. This game made them feel, you know, they were living back in, you know, their old homes. Maybe they were still in school. I don't know. Where were you guys when you first played? I expect most of us were still in school, right? And we want to harken back to an old time. And that's what a lot of people want this remake to do, is to recreate feelings that are gone. They're gone, they're in the past. We can't have them back. And, you know, time has moved forward. Time keeps clocking. We're in the present. And I really feel like there's, again, so much meta-narrative happening throughout the story that it's kind of like mimicking that we can't have those feelings back. It's time to push forward. It's time to recreate new ones. And it doesn't change that those old memories happened, that they're there, they'll always be there. You guys get it. But it's not something we can change. It's something all we can do is move on from. And yeah, there's so many amazing, beautiful, deep themes that Square Enix can bring into this remake. That's what I hoped. That's what I really want to do with that big level 10 God Cloud theory. Is more just focus on the themes, because I feel like so many people, especially when they're theory crafting, they get wrapped up in that reference, that thing. Oh my God, it's all connected. Rather than focus on what's the important message of the story. What are we supposed to be learning from this story, and what more can it now teach us? That's what I want to see the 7 remake do. I want it to take what it originally taught us and expand on it, give us new understandings. And I think that's beautiful, because we're all, what, 20, 15, 10 years older? Oh God, most of you were kids. And I just feel like, yeah, we've changed as people, and the way that we'll interpret and resonate with themes in the game, it's going to change hugely. I've covered the all Watashi thing at the edge of creation. Yep. Why is Sephiroth referencing himself in a pronoun before he lost his mind and went evil? And how does that line up with all of his words saying that he wants to save the planet? Again, it's possible that, I mean, if they've really emphasized in the Ultimania there's multiple Sephiroths, maybe there is one that genuinely wants to, I don't know. But yeah, I want to go through this little post here. Shout out to Nzvizo, because obviously there was so much, again, all of the different color themes that were running throughout the game, so many, as well as music. But they did this really cool description of where the ghosts intervened. It's not all of them, but I like the one that they went with. So, the ghosts. When Aerith saves Wedge, I like how they're still calling it Aerith, mate. It's gone. The remake shut that shit down. It's Aerith, mate. When Aerith saves Wedge through her actions in Sector 7, Wedge is then likely, or perhaps he's the reason why they went on that massively off-script Avalanche siege on the Senior HQ. I thought that was more Jesse. But anyway, knowing that Rufus's ties with Avalanche, he was likely informed of the siege ahead of time, and this explains the somewhat early phone call that Song got, the VP needs us. That leads on to why Wedge was the contact at the on the roof in the Shinra building at the top, and after they rescue Aerith, he's the one who tells them to head for the roof. Compared to OG, where we headed down to the bottom, got arrested, went to prison. But this is why they got to the top quicker, and they caught the president before Sephiroth had killed him. Hence the whole Sephiroth is still alive. Following on, this then leads the party on a different route. A, brings Cloud to the Genova chamber at the same time as Sephiroth, and B, brings them to the roof, again like I said, ahead of the president. Then point 3, likely sets Rufus off down a path different to warrant him seeing the Whispers by the time Cloud and co escape. So this is just to give you an idea. Did you see what Domino's have done, Pez? They made a Midgar pizza, right? I saw it. Midgar pizza with like these cheesy rolls. That's like the reactor bits. I think there's like a chicken drumstick and a cinnamon stick twirl as the Shinra building. Domino's Malaysia. That was it. Yeah, I saw that. So yeah, anyway, because of point 3, Song gives Rufus an earlier call, sets Rufus down the path. At this point, the planet deems the change irreparable and begins summoning the Harbinger to perform another mass correction. I like this. I like that the Whispers were trying to keep things on track. Once it got too far, then it had to bring out its final failsafe weapon, the Harbinger, to auto mass recorrect. The Whispers then start to build at the centre of Midgar. That's why they were swarming around the building in such huge volumes. It had got to the point where time had been irreparably changed. And that's why maybe some of the less ghosts were there to keep Zack's death on track. So they were there around the building. The Whispers start to build at the centre of Midgar, eventually forming a dome around the affected area, and this is why it forms a wall in front of the pie at the end of the highway. It wants to keep them inside the field of effect, ready to wipe/correct their memories. And a lot of people have been talking about, even after they've gone through the portal, have again their memories been changed and altered. Knowing how much the characters know in this game is going to be definitely the biggest mystery going on. However, at this point, Seph and Aerith open a portal for you to enter to fight the Harbinger in the only location it can exist, a singularity. Makes sense, makes sense. Upon destroying the Harbinger, however, all Whisper and Harbinger action influences across all time are undone. However, this creates a paradox due to the mass correction event that happened 2 months prior to the start of the game. The events of this game and the defeat of the Harbinger would not have happened if the first mass correction didn't happen. But for the first mass correction to happen, the Harbinger has to exist. It's a paradox. Hopefully you guys can actually make any sense of that. It makes a lot of sense to me, even though it's crazy confusing. This causes a timeline fracture, resulting in 2 timelines and realities. 1, the mass-corrected timeline is now reinstated, with 5 years of unknown Sephiroth changes already made. I like this explanation. It's dank, isn't it? I just want to stay with these comments. So yeah, the one timeline where Sephiroth has already gone and made a boatload of changes, so only some changes, or even none, may be deliberate by Sephiroth in this timeline. I suspect the Shinra VR malfunction shown in Meteor is due to Hojo having hooked Jenova up to his lab. As soon as Sephiroth sends back his future consciousness, these future memories would have been shared with Jenova. And that's why Jenova was able to show such an immaculately detailed VR version of events, because it was so detailed. I mean, I know the VR thing like scanned Tifa and Aerith, so it's kind of like the VR has their character models. But why it was so detailed and elaborate, Sephiroth came back, shared with Jenova, Jenova's hooked up, that's why they're seeing it. Makes sense. This video would have been shared. Shinra have potentially had access to this for a number of years. The butterfly effect of this could be the cause of the early Harbinger mass correction. Alright, so B, another change. For example, there appear to be some key changes made at Shinra, resulting in a different stamp design. We also saw after the Big Bang event, the bar sign was slightly different. You know the 7th Heaven bar sign? It was broken in a different way. Keep in mind. Right, what is playing right now? I can hear footsteps. Why can I hear footsteps? Alright, it's still playing. Alright, anyway. So the latter, a completely different city design for Midgar. So one of the changes is a completely different design, and apparently someone noticed this, that Shinra is, that Midgar is designed differently in the one that Zack is overlooking. come again? Come again? So yeah, mass corrections that are going way further back than we anticipated. But yeah, the latter of which was known, so project run by Reeve. I suspect this is likely due to the Shinra VR image of Meteor and Shinra descending to dedicate budget to Palmer's space program, which left Reeve a smaller budget to design the build and build Midgar, also influencing their war efforts with Wutai in terms of the design of Stamp. So this is why maybe the Wutai War is so much more hopped up. Midgar's looking slightly different because, yeah, they've seen some of this VR stuff, Shinra, that's why they designed it different. Palmer's got more funding for his program, less for Reeve. Oh. Man, some people have gone nutty. There's also a number of serious events in this time frame that could be affected by Sephiroth's changes, most notably Zack defeating Genesis. I love this song. This song right here, one of my favourites in the remake. 2. It couldn't just be 2 timelines. If you get rid of fate, then you open up infinite timelines with infinite possibilities. That's true, but the question is obviously how far do those get explored? I mean, I agree when it comes to standard time theory is that every time a significant change would be made, another timeline would get created. But I can't see us exploring tons and tons of timelines. I can't wait to see Palmer's jiggle physics. When he gets hit by that ice cream truck. Anyway, C, so maybe Zack defeating Genesis also perhaps changed. And D, I also note that Song and the Turks wanted and tried to save Zack, with him seemingly surviving in this timeline. This makes for a more interesting story dynamic between Rufus, the Turks, and Zack. We saw it at the end of Crisis Core. Reno and Rude with Cisne on the blower. They're trying to find Zack. Maybe played a role. Number 2, the FF7R timeline continues, but with all Whisper involvement undone. Details we know are Sector 7 plate is saved, Big survive, and potentially Jess and Wedge too, though probably not those two. President Shinra is still murdered. Genova is still taken from Hojo's lab, however the walkway is not destroyed by Sephiroth this time. So there we go. I thought that was a really cool little vein of logic to go of how these whispers are coming in, altering events, and then after the big change, that it's rippled up and down time, having all of these inconceivable number of changes that until we get to part 2 and part 3, we will not know the full extent of. But it's pretty crazy now. Pretty crazy. The Eco Midgar friendly versus the Iron City Midgar in different timelines. I really hope that we see the resolution of humanity actually learning how to not abuse their planet. I hope Neo Midgar gets built. I hope there's an eco-friendly city. Because what more of an inspiring view could that be, to finally see it leaving off all complete, while at the same time still deep and hurty as hell. Aerith hurty has to happen. Oh yeah, part of what, you know, when I was saying about what Nomura said about changes, about death, about some people, you know, how they're going to feel about this. There was some graffiti on the wall. I think it was in the Shinra building. I just wanted to bring it up. It said, "Life can still get you down even after you've grown up." Then beneath it said, "Use your imagination." Oh, I thought that was nice. Again, another little reference to what the remake, what OG was then to us, how it is now, that life can still get you down. Use your imagination. Cool bit of graffiti on the wall. Right, was there any other frames that I had? Pretty much, guys. Oh no, these are all my memes. And I miss it. I miss the still sky. So simply Aerith referencing, I think at least, to a time where she wasn't having to be this force that's correcting the timeline. I think that's what the planet's using her for, as a force. That's why the ghosts are giving her memories, making her the main influencer. Also a reference to Zack, you know, the sky took Zack, the sky took her mum, it found her. She always saw it as like a big, scary thing. So she's just harkening back to a simpler time, like us. FF7 purists. I don't know, who still considers themselves a purist, or has Nomura officially geostigmaed you? The change is now in your blood. It's happening. We can never go back. All we can do is look back and say, I miss it. Still sky. I was never a purist. I never have been either. I feel like as this story has evolved, I mean, I don't feel like OG ever wanted to be purist, and I feel like that's why even that graffiti, use your imagination, was put in, because they left things open-ended. They left the main ending of the game to play interpretation very intentionally. Huge resolutions of the game left to our interpretation. Huge scenes, even the relationships between characters, even, you know, did Tifa and Cloud bonk under the high wind? They left it all to our imagination. This has always been such a open-ended format, this game, the storytelling devices, that yeah, I've always seen it as this project that they can change and manipulate. We've seen it throughout the universe, the way they've taken it. And that's what is peppering us all for this remake. At least it is me. Valkyrie boss theme, Pez. Yeah? Go on. I think I was getting my arse beaten during that fight, so I don't really listen to it. I love going back and listening to the music. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much all the points I wanted to bring up in today's stream. Those are like 15 main sections. So who is this Sephiroth? Which one? How many are there? What's his motivation? How did the timeline really split? Is there anything to the Big Bang Theory? Huge materia, Minerva, weapons, all of the possible crazy wildcards, Lucretia, Peasant, that could show up in this game and change things up huge. Ah, this tune, yeah. Ah, this is bloody nice. So, throwing it over to you guys. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? What are your theories? Is it all too crazy and out there? Do you have a foreboding feeling about the direction this remake is going? Or do you think Square's got this one in the bag? Just to once again reiterate, I don't feel this is going to be a pretty release at all. I feel like things are going to I'm feeling scared and confused. I don't think they're going to release this in a timely fashion. I think we're going to get wholly pissed off at how long it's going to take, at how many episodes this is going to be, at how much it's going to cost us. Maybe Square Enix even get a bit scummy with their marketing and the ways they try to fleece us. I think all of that behind the scenes bullshit is going to happen. But if we can disconnect from that, because that's just a realm of frustration, I feel like I do have full confidence that what we will see by the end of this will be a truly incredible masterpiece of the FF7 story. A resolution. I feel like we're going to see all of these themes that I've brought up weaved in some way or other. That's going to give us answers, and the ending is going to be God Cloud. Alright. If you have Geostigma, you can be Sephiroth's host. That's why Kadash held the virus in Advent Children. Yeah, and many characters, even up until the latest installment of the universe, still have it. So again, I think that's what's going to have to be. An elimination of Geostigma. Healing Rain wasn't enough to eliminate it all. I get the sneaky suspicion that we're dealing with an alternative Sephiroth, or a Sephi from the future. I think he has an alternative goal than in the original. Hurt the planet, absorb the energy plan. His new plan seems much more grand and maybe just more mysterious. Completely agree. I personally think it's to, when he looks at the cosmos and he says we'll be a part of it one day, I think it's to join the larger Lifestream of the cosmos, and to bridge the gap between Gaia, because Gaia's been disconnected because it's contaminated, is to remerge it with the cosmos and then take control of it. I think he wants to rule the entire bloody cosmos, mate. But personally, I can see him not wanting to do it with Genova cells. I reckon he wants Genova out of the picture. Pez, can Genesis become Sephiroth host or G cells make him immune? Well, again, it comes to that white wing, black wing symmetry. No, a white wing doesn't necessarily symbolize good. I'm trying to remember specifically what the white wing represented, but it wasn't out and out evil, because we saw Minerva with white wing. Obviously, Angeal gets it. That could be seen as like the offset to it, like the white materia to the black materia, the white wing to the black wing. So is the G cell an offset to the S cell? I don't know. There's something to be said with color symmetry that might play in somehow. Pez, do you think we're going to get multiple endings, like one for Cloud timeline and another for a Zack timeline? I honestly can't see the timelines being too much of a heavy influence on the story, although it's happened and fans might be like, oh my god, we're going adventure with Zack. I still think, again, like Nomura said, it's going to follow the rails of the original. I reckon that's going to be subtle with those themes. It's going to be a really subtle one that just weaves in when the timeline is all corrected. And then at the end of the game, we'll definitely get huge multiple endings. Again, I think OG normal ending, if we didn't accept Aerith's death, if we couldn't accept Destiny, if Cloud couldn't fundamentally move past the one thing that's always held him up, that's always broken him. I think maybe even when Aerith says you can't fall in love with me, it's like her saying you can't be hurt the same way. You can't reject Destiny the way you did before. Cloud, you have to move past it. And I think if Cloud don't, same ending, ambiguous. But if he does, if he accepts her death, becomes the vessel, brings back the souls. But either way, there'll be changes to the endings big time. The ending of FF7 original was a bit poop. They're going to make that so much better. Hello, Vixen Fauna. What up, mate? What I miss? We just been tinfoil hatting. My voice is going. So that's why I've been away from streams, guys. This and trying to get my head out of the bloody conspiracy vacuum this game has sent me in. But yeah, I'm ready for it, guys. I'm ready to... I don't know, I'm going to throw this over to you. I've been sat here like, what do I do next? Do you want me to do my normal review for the game? Shall I bust out all of these theories? You guys have given me so much, by the way. So much to read back on this stream and craft some little theories. Do you want some character analysis? What I thought of the characters? Like some of the things that I thought were beautiful about their characters and the changes? Or should I just get on and do the hard mode second run? Straight away. Alright, so Renoa, without the guilt of Aerith, would Cloud be able to reach his potential of one-winged? I love the idea, Pez. That's the thing, I feel like no matter what, fundamentally this is about Cloud moving on. And accepting that death happens, impermanence is a thing, his mum had to die for a reason. That his life has played out the way it has for a reason. And that he has to accept it and move on. I feel like that is... It's got to be the crux of the story. It's got to be the crux of Cloud's evolution, and that they will peg that to the ending somehow, for sure. Hi, what's the name of the song in the background? What up, Dick Nix? Still Valkyrie, right? Still playing. By the way, if you guys want to hear any other tunes, shall we? Actually, let's quickly stick on Scarlet's. I'm a little bit addicted to Scarlet's theme. All right. Any other points you want to bring up? Let's have a look. Unpopular opinion, but I think Aerith will live either as a result of Cloud change destiny or falling into line more with Sephiroth's new main goal. Maybe she ends up going in a new way, but I think at the very least what happened in the City of Ancients in the OG will not happen. I feel like they could easily red herring us with the location and do it somewhere else. Personally, actually, I don't think they will. I think Aerith will die. Mostly just because I can't see how the rest of the story would play with Aerith still being alive. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe somehow Aerith disappears in this timeline and joins on another, like the Zack one. I don't know, because in the Zack Cloud timeline, The problem with the timeline stuff for me, and that's why I liked looking at the potential, this was all one timeline, just greatly altered, and the stamp bag saying original. What's going on with this? I've got too many tabs open. Is because obviously if there's another timeline, does that mean there's going to be another Aerith in that timeline, another Vincent, another Yuffie? How crazy and complex that could all get. So do you think part 2 won't go past Costa del Sol? They're just going to stretch that part out. So when it comes to this subject, and it's one of my biggest criticisms that I'm going to bring in my review, is the game was bloody beautiful, absolutely amazing. I love the combat system, the characters were next level, the story is so beautiful, so nostalgic, all of that stuff. But padding, why was there padding? There were scenes, and I was watching my mate play back some part, I'm like, I'm not looking forward to going back to that part, really. Things like when we went to the sewers again, or oh god, I'm just going to exit this page. It's pooped over. Any song requests, guys, by the way, any Film 10 remake, I'll throw it out to you. But yeah, they added padding, and I really feel like with the padding that was put in, they could have just continued the story. We could have got to Calm easy. Now, of course, I know they wanted to make it for the first part for Midgar, and I feel like their design philosophy was so up the shitter at this point. They're like, let's stick to Midgar, let's make it dank. But I feel like we could have taken the padding out, progressed with the story way much more, because Square Enix are way out of their depth with how much they got left to do. The Chocobo rap theme. Leslie's theme, actually. Let's hear Leslie's theme. I think Square Enix are way out of their depth with how much further they've got to go with the story. And I feel like we could have got way more traction. The Promised Land pairs. Tony, it has to be a promise between Aerith and Cloud. It has to be. I mean, it doesn't, but I want it to be. Again, the symmetry of Tifa and Cloud's promise sets up the game, and it's Aerith and Cloud's that finishes it, whatever that promise may be. At last, the promise has been made. I don't know, and the Promised Land. There's a really nice way you can tie all that together, Square. I just considered one route off the top of my head, and I thought it was beautiful. Oh, I've not listened to this. Oh, this is nice. Yeah. What do you think Leslie Carl's significance even was? Like, why is Leslie Carl even in this story the way he's in this story? I feel like they set him up for something. And also Roche. Anyone got any theories on Roche? I still love the theory that he's the third soldier who went on the OG mission, the one into the mountains where Sephiroth lost his mind, like the mission that sets up everything. We always see it as Cloud, two soldiers, Sephiroth and Tifa, but obviously Cloud's making it up. So Zack is Cloud, Cloud is one of the soldiers, Tifa, Sephiroth, one other soldier who went on that mission. And Sephiroth says, Tifa goes, we're missing a person, we're missing a man. And Sephiroth goes, as cruel as this sounds, we can't go back, we haven't got time. So this soldier got abandoned in the mountains by his teammates. Now in comes this sudden rogue, wacky, crazy soldier who is so off the fucking rails. He, like, literally the other... Remember those guys are like, the soldiers are driving on their bike and they're like, shit, he's coming, we got to pull off, we got to pull away before he shows up. And he just comes in and kills him. I think that's the soldier who lost his mind. He was abandoned, he lost his mind in the mountain, and he's come back because he wants revenge on Cloud. He wants a rematch, maybe. Either way, Roche's character was so over the top. So over the top. I like the idea that he will come back in the second installment as Soldier Second Class and the third installment as Soldier First Class. So the thing is he even still in Soldier? I know he's third because of the sword. But is he... I guess the soldiers did say that he was coming. So he is still working for Soldier, for Shinra. Right. Hello, Mads. What was that? Hi, I just wanted to see if you thought the same, because I've talked to a few people, can't really tell, but just above the feather design of Sephiroth belts, it looks like two small orbs and a bigger black orb. Thought it might be the materia, wasn't sure if anyone talked about it. Ooh. I have not seen anything on that, but of course it makes sense that this Sephiroth has the black materia. He's already cooled down Meteor. It's completely why he's not going the route of just grabbing the black materia. So Dead, alive, or Jeffin? I just want to see. Dead, alive, or Jeffin? Cloud, Sephiroth needs Cloud to become a vessel of some sort. And it doesn't matter what that is. It might not necessarily be to be taking all the souls of the planet and come back 500 years later, but is that why Sephiroth can't just get his own body back from the Northern Crater? Why Kadaj was obviously a failed host? That is alive. Hellish be Jeffin, alive. Oh, I think Roche will be the driving character for the Crisis Core Project G narrative. Oh, Intellect, the Sleep Easy theory you've just told me to watch. Seen the whole thing, watched it. It's like one of the few things I've watched, and I've spoken all of Sleep Easy's theme. Brilliant video, brilliant breakdown. So clever, the links that they came up with. Yeah, Sleep Easy. Got a brilliant vid. Any other song requests, guys? Keep them coming. Because I'm pretty much done with all the points I wanted to bring up. I think, it's so open-ended where Square Enix will take it from here, and that's the exciting thing. But there's just so much that they can tap into that I hope Square pull it off. I prefer this direction. I prefer this more complex, more thought out. So you're using music to hint at stuff, you're using colour schemes, maybe the belt and the feather thingy, even like Aerith's picture on the wall. It looked like it had the black material in the middle and like this swirling effect. Like they're using all these visual audio hints and all these elaborate ways to show possible stories and the complexities of them. This is what I want. That whole FF15 simplistically presented bullshit, fuck that noise. Simplistically told and simplistically presented. Get out of here. Get out of here. This is Final Fantasy. I don't want a story that can appeal to people who just want a passively told story that doesn't really inspire much deeper thought or layers or themes or exploration, that is just surface level and easily digestible. Fuck that noise. There's so many games and franchises. If that's what you want, in this franchise, we like to see deep, crazy ass stuff. It's what we need. Roche's battle theme. That's what you want next? Alright. Oh, Genova Quickening, actually. Yeah, I haven't listened to this, and Genova's theme is one of my faves. Alright. Any other places you want to take it, guys? Any theories, thoughts, things you want my noodle to postulate with you on? Chadley is suspicious. So Chodesworth is a Hojo assistant. He is supposedly trying to go out against Shinra, strike him back, and he's got that whole, I'm finding myself as a human, I'm making choices, what are these emotions I'm feeling? Like when he sees FemCloud, Chodley's like, I'm feeling things. Biggest mission FF7R is, why is there a horse in Aerith's drawing and not a chocobo? I mean, Eligor is pulled by a horse, so horses exist. Hey Pez, did you read the comment I wrote on the God Cloud theory? So there's like 500 messages on there, and I've read most every single one. I won't be able to recall yours, Varun, but I probably have read it. Amazing comments. One of my favourite comment sections on that video. It's great. Will Aerith sacrifice herself knowing now that Sephiroth knows there's no point in killing her? I feel like it's more... I think we've gone past that point, to be honest. I feel like with the motivations of Aerith dying or getting herself killed or Sephiroth doing it, I feel like we've evolved way past that point. And that the stakes are going to be playing for a whole other game. I don't feel like Holy and the Lifestream, like to summon it, will be the reason Aerith goes. I think it'll be a deeper reason. Again, I quite like the one that it's for Cloud to remember and accept destiny so that he can create the new world. Accept destiny. Hey, Michelle Chen! Thank you, mate. I sent this to you via Twitter, but did you look into Gottard Damerong Gotterdammerung and its ties to Norse mythology. Hell no, but I sure as hell am now, Michelle. And that's the thing, there are cool, very cool other allusions in the FF7 universe to mythologies, even to like real world occultism and mysticism. Again, you got the Kabbalah stuff, you got the Nazi stuff, anyone who ain't seen it. And I always said that, and now in the light of it, actually, just because I did this video before the game remake came out, Hyperborea, a magical land that the Nazis, an authoritarian regime, were looking for, that was somewhere in an area surrounded by ice, but also lovely magical forests. This ancient race called the Hyperboreans also had warriors that came to their aid in a time of need, and they were shadow warriors that appeared on the battlefield. So now we have ghosts appearing to alter events. And there's other stuff like I mean, the Hyperboreans aren't real. They're kind of like based on a real civilization called the Minoans. And the Minoans, again, were something I think influencing to FF7. That's why they got a Heidegger, a direct Nazi name, or Worst, which was the scientist. The scientist who was researching all of this. Hyperborea was one of the first evolved civilizations in history. Supposedly, this is a real civilization. Hyperborea was a mythological one. And they were very similar. They were a bit nomadic, a bit druidic. They worshipped a divine figure called the goddess. Again, something that Minerva's come in. Even the way Barret references to her as the planet. Like, there's loads of like deep mythological cultural themes running in the game. I think they could reappear. It'd be really cool. Yeah, Kate Sith reappearing. What are you saying? The first one to find the black material was Kate Sith. He used his mechanical body, solved the puzzle, he got squished, brought on another one. And yeah, Kate Sith's kind of sending. I think there was also a mention in the Ultimania about Kate Sith, and they specifically said about the absence of his giant pink Moogle plushie thing. So that will still be there. But I feel like that's such a nice role for Reeve. Like, we saw a really endearing side to Reeve straight off the bat. How aghast he is at the idea of I think he straight up says it. He says Shinra dropping the Sector 7 plate was beyond the pale. I feel like Reeve rebuilding the new world of this game would be so big for him. Jake, if FF13 gets a trilogy re-release, will you stream it? A 13 trilogy re-release? Absolutely. The only reason the last one got shut down was because the 13.2 port is a load of poo. So definitely. Oh man, I love this theme. Oh man, it goes on for 32 minutes though. Let me know if you guys want another theme up. Alright, anything else, throw it at me. Oh, Win Faber's coming in again. What if when Sephiroth is supposed to kill Aerith, the other Sephiroth shows up and stops him? Would that convince Cloud and the party to at least hear out a good Sephiroth? Again, we got to be careful, because Win Faber, I like your thinking, and I think the only reason why a lot of people won't is if we use the words good or bad. I feel like those are dangerous terms to use, and we shouldn't use those, but a Sephiroth with a more nuanced, not necessarily completely destructive goal and motivation this time. Yeah, maybe that Sephiroth comes and prevents this one. I mean, that's the kind of crazy shit around Aerith's death that could happen. Whatever it is, it's gonna be 10 out of 10 crazy. I mean, regardless of whether she lives or dies, or you think she should or shouldn't, I think we're all in agreement after seeing this first remake part that it's gonna be crazy from here on out. That Aerith's death is gonna be crazy. I like that. Enlightened Sephiroth versus angry Sephiroth. Brilliant. That's what we call him. Enlightened Sephiroth, full knowledge, full understanding, not under the thumb of Genova's influence, not blinded by crazy rage, hasn't just gone through a identity reforming, you know, because he's like Genova alien Seph who doesn't remember a cloud and he slowly gets his memory. So that's the narrow-minded, angry Seph versus enlightened Seph. And watch each of these will be thinking and doing and wanting to happen. Asnane! Schmeckies! Thank you! My tinfoil hat. Oh, it's very hot. Ooh, too hot. I tip it to you anyway, Asnane. Thank you, mate. Thoughts on map going forward? Same or open? If it was open, could fight side bosses in a dungeon rather than VR. Maybe too big for open world. So yeah, I spoke about this briefly. I can't see open world happening. I feel like what with the distance and rendering detail and power that would create, the fact that the first part was 100 gigabytes, the fact that the original game wasn't open world, the fact that I don't have really any trust that Square Enix can do it that well, and I don't necessarily even like it. An open world is only good if you fill it with stuff. I hate traveling just for traveling's sake. I really can't stand it. And I just feel like we'll go wide linearity instead, similar to 12 instanced areas of wide linear LR 13.2 kind of thing, you know. Midgar to Calm is a grassland, it's open, you've got the mountains there, and you go along and, you know, it's all beautifully designed in this. You know, I feel like there's a much more beautiful way you can do that, where I think what 13 did great, for example, is it had, let's go Roche's battle theme. This Genova shit's been playing a while. I liked, like, with 13, although it was too linear, and that's all you had to do was open that linearity out. You had like areas either side of the tunnel, and cool stuff would be happening. I'd love to see like chocobos moving, and I don't know, the odd Moogle fly past, and just really beautiful detail that is there because it's wide linear and it's not sabotage. I just feel open world is a sabotage on the story, the direction. It'll be just far too much work. And the original was never open world. It was always linear up until the last part, where of course we go exploring. But how we do the exploring and the free world, because of course freely roaming and being able to do whatever you want is a very important part of FF7. But yeah, that'll be on the PS5 at that point. Christ. Alright. Alright, anything else, guys? Just me hit me in the feels, man. Hit me in the feels big time. And I even like what Max said. Now, what we could really start seeing in this next part is a FF7 where things look like they're happening the same, but characters and their memories are coming in real wacky places. So like when Max said Jessie, like we could go to the Gold Saucer and she'll be the princess in the play with her dad in the audience, and she has no memory of us. No memory of us or Avalanche or any of that. And that was one of the significant things that the Big Bang event that kept Zack alive. It's another one of the things that they changed. And boy, would that hurt for Jessie not to remember. Man, I found my fan fiction that I wrote, and most of this was in there. These kind of things and themes and rewrites. The Zacks live. In fact, I'm just going to find it. Screw it, I'm going to do it over here, because there's something I want to show you with it. Here we go. So this is when I went under my alias of Womble. Here it is. Here it is. This is my fanfic. Look who my avatar was. One of my stories. She had never been any kind of a girly girl. Her love for bombs, gadgets, engines, and video games had gotten her friend zoned more times than she cared to count. None ever seeing the young woman beneath with sometimes big heart. This was years ago, so my writing was terrible. So I wrote a Jessie lives game. That's how much I love this character. That's literally how much. This is timestamp 2014 proof. And then Fearing the First was the main story I wrote for years. And it says, Zack awakens on a rain-soaked battlefield to find his best friend dying in the mud. So I killed Zack off instead of Cloud. A sword he could not possibly wield laying close by. The planet had made a fatal error. Now, with the help of Avalanche, a Turk, a fellow soldier, and a flower girl who he has not seen in 4 years, Zack would tear his former employer to the ground. Though Shinra would become the least of his worries. Oh man, I only just found that the other day. This was so nostalgic to go to. Oh, there was this one called Mr. Cellophane I wrote. Mr. Cellophane. Anyone know the song Mr. Cellophane? Everyone forgets his name, forgets his face. Mr. Cellophane. I wrote it that some dude who was living in Sector 7, and I wrote about what Sector 7 was like, what the people were like, and he's one of the people who has a crush on Tifa, but he never tries to hit on her, he never makes an approach, he just goes to 7th every day, he watches other people perving, and he doesn't want to be like them, and then one day he finally plucks up his courage to go up to Tifa and tell her how he feels, and as he's got I think he went out and bought some flowers or something, it's real cheesy. And he's going up to the bar to tell her she's not in. And he's like, this is strange, they're not in. It's because they've gone on the reactor run. And it's at that moment that the plate comes down. And that the day he decided to pluck up his fucking guts was the day he died. And he just in his last moment, he just smiles with some irony. So cheesy, but this is how much I love Final Fantasy, man. This is how much I love it. I sit and imagine this stuff. Hovek! Woo! Orange Rain! I'm Mary Poppins, yo! Finally got a notification for the stream. Natural environment theorist, Pez. I'm in my natural environment. That's what I love about this remake. It's brought out the side of me that I nourished and flourished for years with Final Fantasy. So I've kind of gone down these alternative routes. I've considered like how would weapon tie in, how could Sephiroth this, that thing with the planet, that live stream. I've done this for years. I know for probably a lot of people who haven't, this ending of the remake, that's why a lot of people just fucking hate it. They just hate it. They hate that they've changed it. And as much as I want to be able to say to people, look, believe me, they can do this. They can pull off a much better version of this story, a much bigger one with higher stakes, while at the same time still creating a fucking beautiful experience. As much as you can try to convince people, and I think Max said it, to people, look, what did we see from this first game? Beautiful story, really done, well done events, just a masterpiece style. Why would any of that change? I think you're just not going to be able to convince anyone. In fact, what is it? I was getting myself all worked up because I was going through this shit show. Has anyone been here yet? Has anyone done this? You've gone to this, and then you click on the red. Mate, this is like fanboy triggering 101, this is. Oh man, I can't. I'm not even going to do it on the stream because I'll get myself really pissed off and I'll start ranting. Some of the logic of the... I'm not saying you can't not like where they've gone with the game, but it really does piss me off when people get annoyed at the game and they tank its review, and then in their review they say a bunch of shit that they just haven't understood. Like I saw zeros that were saying none of the ending made sense. What? So Sephiroth's here and their power levels are just really fucking crazy and he shouldn't remember Cloud at this point. It makes no sense. And that was it. And it's like, no, it does make sense. In the context of the way they have now written this story, you need to understand that part. I think Max said it. I said a lot of people are on level 1, level 2, half levels. That's the majority of people. I bet some people definitely are level 4 and they still don't like it. I think, mate, will Gold Saucer be its own disc with Jessie being actress from the Time Shenanigans? So, you guys may not like this, but I have a feeling we're not going to do much of the Gold Saucer. We'll do some, we will go there, but I don't reckon a lot of mini games will be in there. I don't know. I can't help but thinking, basically, that they're going to try to put some of this on mobile. Whether that's like the Fort Condor RTS situation or something, I don't know. I just feel like mobile's gonna get involved. This music is so perfect for how I feel about mobile gaming. No, It's coming, and it's more powerful than any of us want it to be. But it is. It's huge. The huge looming threat of mobile. I said a comment. I said, as long as Square, you can create your mobile little titles, but whatever you fucking do, don't create a gacha empire building game where you have your version of Gaia and you have to pay to build up your world of Gaia, and then you'll be put in a battle of other similarly paid for Gaias, and all of your Gaias compete, and you have to pay more and more. Don't give them ideas. What do you think the remake's DLC is going to be? So Captain Noob, I've thought about whether they're going to be doing DLC at the far end of the entire series, because Nomura did say, or Katase said, if you're looking for post-game content, you will not be, or end-game content, he said, you will not be disappointed. Now, whether that means we're going to get DLC between these episodes, I think yes. What it could be, well, the Zack timeline seems like a huge one for DLC now. Huge. I feel like if they was to do one between now and Part 2's release, we do a DLC with a bit of Zack's story. Then if they did one after Part 2 where Aerith is dead, if it works in these parts, I think we do an Aerith in the Lifestream DLC. And then a third one, maybe a post-universe resolution. But I don't think it's going to go down that way. I don't think we're going to get DLCs in between parts. I actually more see Square Enix just working on each part, working as much as they can, and releasing this in... really taking their fucking time with it and pissing off fans. And then they're like, okay, so we've only got this second part up till the Junon boat crossing, or maybe a bit further than that. We're going to get this out. Maybe we get like small incremental episodes, like 5, 6, 7 of them every year. No, because if they did this in another 2 parts, I don't care how fast Square work. It would be another 2 to 2.5 years to do the next part, even with pre-built assets. Even with pre-built assets. No, most of the assets were pre-built before even the... what's the name of the company that got dropped? CyberConnect. And it still took as long as it took. I feel like they won't wait 2.5 years to release another section that would be large enough, so I reckon they would go release smaller parts more frequently. Which, yeah, I think that will get mucky as hell. Right. What if they do redo Crisis Core in between Part 2 and Part 3? Well, I've seen a lot of, one person actually left a comment on my video saying, none of your God theories, right? Because it's very clear what they're doing. They're setting this all up for a Crisis Core 2. That's what I want, and that's what's going to happen. So many people who project onto the story things they want, and I'm doing it. I'm doing it the same. I want the God Cloud thing. Other people want the other stuff. Everyone's projecting what they want. And some people do want that Crisis Core 2 kind of story, DLC. But as for Crisis Core itself, should they port and bring it out? Well, the reason why they've never done it is I think there's something with the music. I think it was music, sinking the copywriting laws of the music. And 2, it's breaking the canonicity, so I just don't think they're going to do it. I don't think they're going to bring Crisis Core along. Hi guys! Hello, Tomo. How you doing, bruv? Be with you in a bit. You staying around for a while?
Maybe.
Maybe. Alright, mate.
Maybe, man.
Alright. Anything else, guys? Load me up. Also, song. Actually, no, I'm picking the next song. It's going to be Scarlet's theme. It's a bloody sexy little saunter of a theme. Sexy saunter. The thing about the assets, though, they're all really Midgar themed. Precisely. A lot of them are. But, I don't think that matters too much. Yeah. I think they've just got a lot of the design build and philosophy knuckled down. I don't think it's specifically the assets have to be built, it's capabilities to build it are in place. But bear in mind, they've probably already been on this next part for... shit, Scarlet crashed her theme. But bear in mind, they've already been working on this for a while, Part 2. Part 2's been in the making for... I mean, definitely since the marketing team have been on this remake. How big Wutai going to be? I don't care how big it is, as long as it's there. That's the thing, I can really see any of the environments we go to having to get scaled back. Nothing can be as large as what Midgar was again, none of these other areas. I mean, none of them are, but none of them either should be. How do you think Cloud will gain the ability to defeat future Sephiroth in the end pairs? I feel like the way Cloud's going to win this is, no, based on my God Cloud theory, is after all of his friends have died and he's been served the ultimate fat despair sandwich, it's going to be despair. Despair is going to get hit, that's going to be part of Sephiroth's goal, I think, and it will be through Cloud overcoming that despair. That's how Cloud will win. Perma. And I feel like that will be Cloud going 99% of the way that Seth wants him to. And then it will be, no, whether that's becoming the vessel, whether that's, whatever it is. And then the power that Sephiroth has imparted into Cloud to achieve his goal, Cloud will turn it back on Sephiroth. Despair, power reversal, and friendship, and love, and weird. These will be the pillars that Cloud will break Seth with. He'll just offer him a big old fat splee and just be like, chill out, Seth. Weed will win the day. Sephiroth is actually a hero trying to conserve the flow of fate. Again, you're touching on it. The potentially Sephiroth good guy. And it's not beyond the realms of possibility, because at the end of the day, if Genesis Rhapsodos, he was able to be converted, and it's not straight away, you know, what they really made a point of is Minerva condemned him down into the Lifestream because he had to learn more. But Minerva did not say he was beyond hell. So if Genesis can do it, maybe Seth can. FF10-3 and FF7 crossover in the making. I like the 10-7 connection. I've always liked the 10-7 connection. I think it's elegant. Not elegant to the point it doesn't have its how the hell would that have happened? But I like it. Alright, any other questions I've been missing? Or points? Tinny hats? What would you hate to happen or not happen from now and forward? Because I can't. The main thing I had, and it was so strong in my body at the point I'd finished my first playthrough, was drama for drama's sake. I felt plot ghosts. Oh my god, what the hell are these things doing? Why are they changing these events up? Did that have any purpose or rhyme or reason? And I was starting to think I was going to hate that. Now I see why all that is there. I think it's genius. But that doesn't underline that if they don't pull through, like if they don't neaten things up. I think what I hate is if they go off the beaten track, it doesn't really bring any huge resolution or arc or... No, it doesn't make sense and it's riddled with plot holes, which the second you enter time into the bloody fray, you're at the risk of plot holes and them not sort of like bringing it back round while at the same time honouring the themes of the original. That's what I'd hate most. Them losing themselves up their arse of story philosophy design, basically. Because that's exactly what the original had. It had a story philosophy structure to it that resonated with people. There's something that harkens, that is kind of archetypal in the tales that it tells, as well as real world mythology. Again, that there's something that resonates, that calls to people. I think that was the power of the original. There was a relatability in there. And I feel like that needs to come through. This theme. Anything else? Sorry if I've been missing anyone's comments. I think I think the posters you see about Shinra's sensor technology is actually referring to the technology Reeve uses for Kate. Well, one of the cool things, and oh my god, I've only just thought about this. I've always said that Reeve is curious at his own creation, Kate Sith, because it's starting to show sentience. You know when the first Kate Sith gets splatted, and then the second one is kind of... no, the first one he mourns that even though he'll come back, it won't be the real him. And there's multiple things where Reeve has been shocked at the sentience his own machine is gaining. Now obviously if machinery is a natural part of the life stream, like machinery, Minerva's mechanistic, the weapons, Omega, maybe that's why Kate Sith is able to gain sentience. It's a piece of machinery that's merging with the life stream and getting its own... What was the original question? I can't remember the original question. Do you think we will see any appearances by Turks from Crisis Core, so like shotgun and knives and all of that stuff? I don't think so. I'd like them to, but I can't see it. Considering the OG Avalanche is around a appearance by Elf. Man, I really want to see Elf. Elf is so cool. So cool. Did she die at the end of Before Crisis? I really can't remember. But Elf is like the lightning of Final Fantasy. She is the daughter of Veld, who was the leader of the Turks before Song. Context for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about. See, they've mentioned Deep Ground, they've mentioned Banora apples, they've mentioned other Avalanche member cells. In fact, someone pointed out in the first FF7 Remake trailer, you remember there was like those Black Ops dudes? And they were like running up the Midgar stairs and they're like at the doorway. We never saw those. Where were those? I feel like that must have been other Avalanche members. And they were going to show... I mean, they did show up, didn't they? I mean, they actually did. They showed up to help Wedge and the crew when Wedge gets his arse singed. Gacked flying by with a dumb apple. That's what I want. The cover of part 2, just the bloody mighty Gacked with his apple just... on the cover. Right. Last theme, guys. I have to wrap this up because I will release this. I think we've definitely talked on some juicy points. And yeah, I hope Square Enix, I keep saying the word tightrope, walk the tightrope balance of keeping the original story as we know it and not over convoluting it and over messing it, but at the same time, go into all this universe stuff. There was never a point in pretending it wasn't real. But that pretending the rest of the universe stuff didn't exist. Aerith's theme, yeah, let's end on that. Yeah. I mean, there were so many renditions of Aerith's theme. Let's go this one. Yeah. But like the first trailer says, there may be, what was it? There may be fear, there may be anxiety, there may be Pez tinfoil hat shitting his brains out. But whatever happens, a promise has been made. They are back. Play the Honeybee Inn theme. My mate just played past that point. He loved it. Have you asked Tash to cosplay any of the FF7 waifus yet? I don't know. I don't know if I'd dare. If I'd get away with it. Hello, Laura. Create a video about each characters, please. Absolutely. Are you off, mate? Rizzlers? Go for it. Absolutely. The oh yeah. Go for it. Want some of those? You guys off?
We are, yeah. We're gonna go
You off?
Yeah.
Alright, take it easy.
Yeah.
Do the pip. Yep.
Get some sunshine. Yeah.
Get some sunshine, she says. They can tell. They can tell I've been in this hole of theory crafting, just been getting pasting, a bit crazy. I've been walking up to Tash, haven't I, every now and then and be like, oh my god, Tash, I know you don't care, but I need to tell you this thing about FF7. I need to tell you what's happened. Have any of you been doing that with your friends or family? You just need to say things at them. God, I've totally lost my train of thought. It'll be amazing no matter what happens. I genuinely think it will. I think that even if they get nutty with all of these other elements, the reason why I can't have sympathy for... Oh, that was it. Walking the tightrope. I keep saying if they can walk this tightrope of delivering the story on the same rails, on the same structure, in the same way, because did that first part not feel like Midgar up till the escape scene? No, if you take out the last 2 hours where everything changes, everything, it felt like the original. Just scene for scene, and the way they literally did things, scene for scenes, word for word. If they can keep that throughout, then in my mind, those who wanted, the Puritans who wanted their like for like, have more or less got it. You've got your remake. Even if they take the endings off some other routes, I'm not going to have pity for you if you hate that, because at the end of the day, you can just kind of... That didn't happen. Yeah, no, I found that funny as well. They called Cloud's mum Claudia. Ever since I beat the game, I have this emptiness because I want more. Wake up every morning felt like Christmas morning knowing I got to play it, and this has come from someone who never played OG. And you had that strong feeling for it. That's beautiful, ZMD. But yeah, from here on out, I'm gonna continue doing up some little theories, but I'm definitely like Laura said, we're doing some character breakdowns, what was beautiful, what improved, my reviews, all the other stuff. If there's anything specifically you want to see, let me now know. But tinfoil hat's done, guys. Thank you for joining me on this one. I've been genuinely saying, oh, muscle nerd, thank you so much as well. I've been genuinely saying, like, oh God, which direction do I take with these series? Oh God, it's too much, it's too much. And I was like, I just got to go on live and chat with you guys. Is Pez still wearing the pink lipstick? That was a thing. That was a different timeline, mate. That was parallel timeline. When do you see us getting our first peek at part 2? A peek of it? Well, I would give my regular answer, like I feel Square Enix will start, I feel like they've learnt their lesson and they'll start doing the hype train. What is this? They'll start doing the hype train like way shorter this time. I feel like they know they did it too long, and there was like a lot of situations around why they released that first trailer so much. It was already getting out, it was already starting to leak that they were doing it. They don't have those excuses now, so I'd like to say 4 months to 6 months before part 2, but I've really been wondering whether this coronavirus situation will genuinely impact the development of part 2. I can't imagine it not having some impact. Anything else, guys? I don't think we'll see part 2 till like September-ish. September-ish this year. Mate, I mean, your hopes are way different from mine. I'm minimum a year expectation. Minimum a year. Helena, thank you, mate. Your live stream's always joy to watch. Have you considered voicing audiobooks? I don't think I have the range. I do. I just want to voice some crazy, weird, insignificant little NPC in the remake. That's all I want. That's all I need. A year, then a delay. Part 2 must-haves. Aerith's death. Aerith's death seems like, again, I think this is where there's like this weird vacuum of events happening, like complex with the original story. Is everyone suffered under the vacuum? I'm convinced of it, that Midgar was way bigger than it was. I mean, who didn't, when they first left Midgar, have the feeling of, oh my God, there's a whole other world? Oh, I've already played so much. Even Katase said that himself. He was like, when I went back and I reviewed Midgar, I was shocked at just how short it actually was. And I feel like even with Aerith's death, that seems late game. It's really not. It's not. It happens like, what percentage of the way through? I think I did a video actually laying it out. It's like a third of the way through. So unless they get past that point, so for me, my necessities for part 2 is that we see a solid variety of areas, that we get a good idea of where you're going with this story, how you're doing the open world. I want to see that. But also we would want to see by that point what's happening with the combat system. Is it carrying over? Are items and weapons transferring over? Are we going back to a level 1 completely redesigned combat system each game, like with different spells and abilities? Or will we start 2 with like a roster of a shitload of abilities already, and then it'll expand on top of even that? In which case, by the end it'll be so huge, the combat roster. I don't know, but I'm super hyped for part 2, for the second playthrough. Part 2 playthrough. My second playthrough. I want to feel this combat system in real mode. In a I can't get away with anything mode. We have to strategize. We also go on with theorize. That's what I'm so hyped about this next playthrough. There'll be so many theories as we play through it. Pez, the most important question is, will we ride Mr. Dolphin? I mean, we've already seen it. They've created the dolphin asset. Tifa's dolphin punch. There's a dolphin, it's made. Why wouldn't we Mr. Dolphin? Unless, of course, something in the Big Bang parallel timelines changed something. Maybe Mr. Dolphin ain't a dolphin no more. Or shit, maybe. What was it? I think Simpsons predicted it, and a few scientists have, that dolphins are the next race, more evolved than us, to take over. So the time jumps have given Mr. Dolphin and the entire dolphin race a big cognitive upgrade of their timelines, and they take over all of Gaia. The age of Mr. Dolphin is upon us! He will come. Dolphin Wrath. Dolphin Wrath is real. Hey, Olympus. Thank you, mate. Boy, you're dropping so many purple rains in my stream. Cheers. And Libsk. Petition Square to cast Pez reappearing Easter egg NPC. Please. Please. Hey Pez, thanks for another awesome stream. I'm torn between whether I want smaller parts with shorter wait times or large parts with longer wait times. What do you prefer? You know, this is kind of like putting delicious food in my plate and being like, if you can just not eat it straight away and wait for more, you'll get more deliciousness. Or like, give me all my Christmas presents and telling me I can only open a few. Like, there's a side to me that's like, I want a wholesome, full experience. I don't want this to be all dissected and segmenty and on, off. But then also don't want to wait for long. So it's like the inner child wants little and often as much as possible, but the pragmatist in me, I've got an eyelash in my eye. Oh, Sephiroth summoned eyelash meteor. Oh, fuck. But the inner sense in me is like, nah, this should be shorter sections, more wholesomely done. I mean, a lot of people, just so you know, don't want to be paying 150 quid to see this entire story. Me personally, I mean, that's if it's 3 parts. If it's 5 or 6, I mean, we're talking nearly 600 bloody quid. Alright, or 300 quid. Personally, I'll spend whatever amount, but it's bloody cheeky. How much? Pez should voice an NPC peasant with wild theories about Gaia that turns out to foreshadow the true ending. Yes! Yes, just stick me in the library somewhere. Or Chocobo Sage! I'll be Chocobo Sage. And you'll go to him and he'll just mumble little foreshadowing tinny hat theories under his breath. B for Chocobo Sage! As long as each game is fun and not padding, then all good. So quick last point on padding. So did you guys feel like there was definitely padding, like areas and side quests that you just wish weren't there? Or do you think actually it was padding and it was definitely padding, but I actually still enjoyed it? I actually still had fun with it? Or just no padding at all, like move it along. What is this sexy little groover? ZMD, thank you, mate. Found your channel back in the day after being FF15. Love your theories, FF7. That was great. Gonna go back, play the original Switch soon. Thank you. I enjoyed the padding. That's the thing. There was like parts of padding that would just be like really well done by the end, because like you do a padding quest. I can't remember the one that happened the other day. Oh, that was it. My friend was playing and he saw the quest with the cats and he was like, is there any point in this quest whatsoever? And I was like, well, you'll get to meet Betty, and then when you go, I didn't tell him, but in my mind I was like, and then Aerith will go into Sector 7 and save Betty, and like really beautiful scene, just helping Betty out. So like that quest set up something, and like even if it doesn't set up anything, even if it was like just collecting Betty's tunes just to see that old boy groove, show him how it's done. Like to me that was worth it. That was worth a bit of padding bullshit, because it always paid off is what I'm saying. I felt like they always paid off in some fun, quirky, cool way. But at the end of the day, there still doesn't need to be padding. Like unless Leslie Carl's going to be important, we shouldn't have gone back to the sewers for abs. But the second part was fun. I don't know. Alright, final points. I keep saying this, but I've got to bounce. Otherwise, the longer this video gets, the less appealing it's going to be. People don't like long vids. Like my 36-minute God Cloud Raid. But I also want to do more of these guys. I love this format. I love this off the cuff, hanging, chatting, chilling. It's pretty sweet. But yeah, I mean, there is an argument to be said, Square, why the hell can't you do a decent quest, man? Like, what is it with Square at this point that they can't do a good quest? It's not like they're not aware of it. I mean, how much they emphasize we're doing qualitative questing over quantitative. There were, quote Nomura, a boatload, well that's not an exact quote, but a ton of quests, and he went in and trimmed loads out because he was like, he wanted them to be important to the story. So this is what you're left with, Square? This to you is qualitative questing. Jesus. I feel like they've got such a blind spot on questing. If I could get involved in the remake at all, it would be to go and just give a fucking seminar on side questing. I could easily come up with 5, 6, 10, 20, name as many quests as you want that had amazing links and references and allusions and juice to the story. I mean, you guys could do it. How can you make a bad quest in a universe this large and expansive? Leslie's story was good and should have been a side quest and standard for the rest. True. I wonder why they did that with Leslie, where they'll come back in. Alright guys, need a Pez dance video. That's the thing. After seeing that honeybee scene, I'm just convinced this is all a setup to Final Fantasy VII dancing all night. Yeah. Alright guys, anyway, thank you so much for coming. Thank you to everyone who tipped, everyone who theorized. So all in all, final, alive, dead, or Jeffin. That the FF7 story from here on out is going to get absolutely freaking balmy. Are you alive for it? Are you dead for it? Or are you Jeffin on the fence? Thank you also Olympus, mate, Laura Chambers, Javan, Nalooms, hopefully I'm saying that, Hassan the Man, Hovek, Muscle Nerd, all of the other beautiful folkies. I want to get back to streaming P4 again soon. Asnane as well, Jonathan G, Duquin, and yeah, Duquin. Thank you guys. Alright, alive. Good, you guys are alive for it. Sweet, keep breathing, keep tinfoil hatting, and yeah, I'm going to go back to my P4 stream, my P5. I'm going to start my second FF7 playthrough next week, and I'm going to use that as a jumping point to review this whole story, but I also keep releasing stuff on this channel. Thank you so much, guys. Alive with a touch of Jeff. Always keep a touch of Jeff, and that's the thing, I'm keeping a touch of Jeff. I know I'm very guilty of overcommitting to a direction Square will go, getting over hyped and over anticipated where it will go, and then getting slighted at the last point. I feel like 15 has taught me stuff. 15's taught us all a lot of stuff. I feel like no matter what, I'm going to be able to handle whatever they bring out this 7. I can handle it. Exactly, we've got P4G and F7R next week. Absolutely. Yeah. Alternate with P4G from P5R. I think I've still got quite a bit of G to go, so I'll probably switch it up. But yeah, keep your head open. That's it. And also keep your eyes open. Comment, like, and subscribe, because I'm going to keep videos coming. And take it easy, guys. Take it easy. Attachment is suffering, Pez. That is the words of the Buddha. Oh man, I could just sit and groove out. Anyway, toodle pip, guys. Muscle Nerd, Captain Potato, the glorious Anna. Do you need a new thumbnail for the second run? I do, Anna. Anna's the one who's been dropping all the dankest of thumbnails for my live streams for, I mean, it's been a good few years now, hasn't it, Anna? She always does a remarkable job. Yeah, hard mode spoiler run. And with the hard mode, I don't know how hard it is. Maybe you guys can just give me a little idea here. Do I just still use everything that I can for this hard mode run? Like, I shouldn't restrict myself on magic or like do a no material run or anything else. Is it basically hard enough that even if I utilize everything, its items are off forever? It's really hard. Use everything. It is hard. Since the World of Final Fantasy streams. Anna, that's the first stream I ever did. You've been my thumbnail gal since day one. Use whatever you can. Alright, and what do you think my chances are? Before we leave, what do you think my chances are in hard mode? I'm a professional. $10,000 wipes. Same magic for bosses. Use Barret a lot. 0 wipes. Alright guys, I can't wait for that. I can't wait. I mean, Aerith is she's gonna mesmerise me in this second playthrough. I can tell because I've been watching my friend do it and she just does. Thank you guys. Intellect, JDS, Maxix, Metal, Fuzz Nugget. These names. Greyjin, Limpus, until the next Tinfoil Hat. Jeff. Oh, my